Good morning, everyone. This is April 18th, 2018. This is a regular meeting of the members of the State Liquor Authority. Present today are Chairman Bradley, Commissioner Ford. Sitting in for Council Riano is Associate Counsel Marsico, Deputy Commissioner of Licensing Held, and myself, Secretary Donahue. I'm going to ask if you have any phones, please silence them and take your calls outside. We're going to call items. First, we have an item in New York, then an item in Buffalo, several items in Albany, and then we're returning to New York, where we're going to start with a public hearing on some proposed regulations, and I'll have more to say about that when we actually start the hearing. And Jim, do you have anything to?
No.
All right. We're going to start first with item 788A, Hongji Inc. It's a request from Counsel's Office for an emergency summary order of suspension.
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioner. Alexandra Obremski on behalf of Counsel's Office. Counsel's Office is making a recommendation for an emergency order summary of suspension in the case of Hongjia, a karaoke bar in Maspeth, Queens, in light of a search warrant that was executed by Vice on April 12, 2018. Pursuant to the search warrant, officers from the 108 Precinct, Vice, and uncovered over $2,000 in cash, 45 jars of ketamine, 12 bags of ecstasy, and 2 bags of methamphetamine. And some of those drugs were located in a locked safe on the premises. Additionally, gambling devices, multiple packs of counterfeit and untaxed cigarettes, and records and electronic devices related to gambling, sale of narcotics, and prostitution were recovered on the premises. 9 individuals were arrested, one of whom is a licensed principal of the premises. Wen Chen, she was arrested for criminal possession of a controlled substance, a B felony. Another employee, a hostess / paid companion, was arrested for a criminal sale of controlled substance, a B felony. 2 patrons were also arrested for criminal possession of controlled substance, third. Additionally, another hostess, paid companion, was charged with prostitution. A contemporaneous investigation conducted by the authorities investigator uncovered overcrowding, blocked exits, inoperative emergency lighting, an unapproved second bar, no books and records, illicit or untaxed liquor, and the licensee also failed to permit inspection, which is the safe in which the drugs were recovered actually had to be blown open. Subsequently to that, the 108 Precinct and the authorities investigator conducted an inspection on April 14th, which resulted in 6 arrests. Again, multiple karaoke rooms were inspected. Again, ketamine was recovered.
2 days later?
2 days later.
All right, that's enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote to summarily suspend. It's obvious that it's a risk to the health, safety, and welfare of the community.
That was my first notice too, that 2 days later they're right back, and these guys like, here's your sign. I'm going to vote to suspend as well.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move to Buffalo now with respect to item 788B, Ronzak Inc. There's also a request from Counsel's Office for a proposed emergency summary order of suspension.
Good morning, Commissioner Ford and Chairman Bradley. This matter is being brought before you today for consideration of an emergency summary order of suspension. The premises in question is doing business as a Thirsty Frog. It's located in Irondequoit, New York, which is a major suburb of the city of Rochester. The town of Irondequoit has its own police department, and as the record before you reflects, the operation of the Thirsty Frog has taxed the resources of this small police department on an almost daily basis. Significantly, in the course of this investigation, ECI Curry requested that the department provide him with calls for service for similar establishments in the jurisdiction. And it should be noted that in 2016, there were 142 calls for service or special detail to the Thirsty Frog. And in 2017, there were 243 calls for service or special detail to the Thirsty Frog. Comparatively, there were 11 calls for service at another licensed premises similar to this one, and 25 calls for service at another place called MPV Sports. So these numbers assist us in putting the great strain that the Thirsty Frogs operation has placed on this police department into context. It should also be noted that this premises is located in a plaza, which is numbered 519 East Ridge Road. So when Investigator Curry requested calls for service to the plaza for those timeframes, and those were pulled and reviewed. It was revealed that there were an additional 95 calls for service to the address, and the majority of those were for Thirsty Frog incidents. The incidents detailed in the papers before you begin with the most recent on April 14th, when the licensed premises bartender was involved in an altercation resulting in injury to herself, and she refused cooperation with police. On April 13th, the police have to respond to the premises to break up a disturbance in the parking lot. On April 12th, they went there for a report of a female screaming and crying, and when on scene, they located a 20-year-old female who was highly intoxicated and injured, and who stated that she had been a patron of the Thirsty Frog earlier that evening. On April 8th, they responded for an assault. The victim had been hit in the head with a bottle. While on scene, the victim fainted and began having a seizure. She was highly intoxicated and had to be admitted to the hospital. On March 31st, police reported an assault in the premises parking lot between patrons of the establishment, which resulted in one male suffering a broken eye socket and jaw and requiring the installation of a metal plate in his face. Police had already been on scene at the premises when that fight occurred because they were dealing with an overcrowding situation and were attempting to disperse a crowd. On March 11th, police responded to the premises for a group of females fighting. One of the females was injured after having been bitten on the arm, breaking the skin. Her purse was also stolen in the fray. On March 10th, police went to the premises for people fighting, and upon arrival, they discovered a male covered in blood. He said the blood was not his, but he was uncooperative and they couldn't get any further information. There's more, including stabbings, but what I've already listed is enough to make out a per se case of a sustained pattern of nuisance activity under ABC Law 118.
Can you just go into the security guard that was interviewed?
Yes, if that was not enough, we have a statement from a security guard who worked at the premises for the better part of the last year. Before he resigned, he stated due to his concerns for his safety, and in his words, due to the amount of criminal activity that was going on in the bar, because he felt so unsafe, had purchased a level 3 tactical vest to wear while he was on site performing his security duties. In his statement, he reveals that the premises frequently allows people into the establishment without checking ID, that marijuana use occurs on a regular basis, that he himself, even though he was only 19, was encouraged to drink alcoholic beverages by the bartenders after hours, and that he has found guns and knives on persons entering the premises. The police and the authority have previously warned the licensee that he needed to correct these issues and hire more security and exercise a greater degree of control over the premises. His response has been to do nothing other than to push his issues onto the Irondequoit Police Department by asking for more special details and complaining about how the cost of doing business requires him to operate in this unsafe manner.
Okay. That's
We're
enough.
requesting the summary order, yes.
So you said the SLA and the police have both issued orders to him in the past?
We warned him that his premises had been looked at as a potential nuisance on October 21st of 2016. We sent him a letter detailing that because we had received 2 police referrals indicating that fights had occurred in the licensed premises parking lot. In addition, the police had been in regular contact with him, and part of the packet before you is some email correspondence between one of the sergeants from Irondequoit Police and the licensee, indicating that, you know, they're having these issues with the licensed premises, that it's taxing their department's resources, and his response was to ask for more special details and say, you know, I'm sorry, but the cost of business is too high, and I can't stay open unless I have these parties.
So several hundred police calls to this place over the past couple of years. Is that, can I just sum it up that way?
Yes.
I think that alone is enough for me to order a summary suspension. So I'm going to vote to suspend.
I'm going to vote to suspend as well. It's obvious that this, given that the security guard feels a need to wear a bulletproof vest, that this is clearly a health and safety risk to the community, and it's a tax on on a small police department, so I'm going to vote to summarily suspend.
Thank you.
All right, we have nothing else in Buffalo. We're going to move to Albany. And the first item there is 678, Man Mountain Incorporated.
Over here? Yes.
Good morning. We're good? Okay, thank you. Good morning. My name is Eleanor Mullaney of the Mullaney Firm in Saratoga Springs, New York, and I'm here representing Man Mountain Incorporated with regard to violations that are currently pending. There has been a proposed conditional no contest plea with a proposed payment penalty of $15,000 offered that my client is willing to accept, and we would respectfully request that be allowed to go forward. I would like to just point out some of the efforts that my client is currently making and has been making for some time with regard to the issue of serving underage patrons. Of course, there is a 4-scanner ID that's used every time. It's rebooted regularly and checked by his identification and IT people to be sure that it's used.
That's obviously not working.
There were times, my understanding in going through the records is that the IDs did go through the scanner. The scanner has been updated and it has regularly been rebooted.
There were 100, well, when our guys went there were 100 people, or the police went there were 100 patrons inside, 40 to 50 were under 21. Now, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that every one of them showed a fake ID, and you're telling me the scanner's working?
Well, there were.
Maybe it's time to get a new scanner.
I don't want to question the information that you have, but the records that I have reflect that there were a few arrests on these particular days. There have been no incidents since May of last year, and as
So
I
did
said,
they get a new scanner since May of last year?
we have not had a new scanner since May of last year.
So
We've
what's
had it
changed?
regularly checked. We've had it regularly checked. In addition, there are 3 video cameras that are used all the time. The bartenders have, and the doormen who operate the scanners have all participated and completed alcohol awareness programs.
Have you been,
These-
do you know if there has been undercover operations in there since May 6th of 2017? Do you know?
We
I
have
mean,
been
your client has so many sales to minors here that this really should be an automatic cancellation. So the fact that you updated a scanner that to me wasn't working previously isn't really going to do it.
But there's been no incidents since May of last year.
No, we don't know whether we've tested you since May of last year.
Yeah, and this
Well,
goes back to 2012.
I mean, what I would suggest, one, the penalty that you proposed is not sufficient. It's not even close, well, it's close to sufficient, but not sufficient, and they're going to have to buy new scanners. There are scanners out there now that are almost 100% reliable, and it's clear to me that they don't have one.
Well, my client is willing certainly to purchase a new scanner. We can do that immediately. It's his understanding that the undercover operations happen randomly, but usually they happen every few months. There have been no incidents, so we cannot attest certainly that they've been in or haven't been in. But we can attest, as Lisa Ogden from Counsel's Office confirmed with me as of Monday, that there have been no other incidents since that time.
That's probably correct, that we don't have any indication that there are, but that doesn't mean, when you have 40 or 50 underage people in a bar, that tells me that they all know where they should go. That's not an isolated incident. That means that word got out, if you want to drink and you're under 21, you go here.
I would also just let the board know that my client does no advertising of any kind. We are in a college community.
Well,
However,
they have Facebook, if you haven't seen it. I'm going to ask that you do a new scanner, and as I said, there are very reliable scanners out there. They're going to have to purchase one of those and show us that they purchased one, and I'll take 20,000.
20,000 is exactly what I had for a figure. I thought 15,000 was a little too low as well.
Chairman, with respect to the scanner, do you want something that's going to be, for lack of a better term, approved by counsel's office for enforcement, or?
By enforcement, and we obviously aren't going to recommend anything, but a little research, you'll be able to find out what I'm talking about.
We will do that.
Well, you'll get a
And-
letter.
and-
I'm sorry. Are you accepting that now? Do you want, otherwise you'll get a letter with the terms of the offer.
What do you want? Get the letter?
Letter with the time.
If you would please send us a letter, we will investigate the scanner and work with counsel's office to confirm.
Okay.
All right. Next
Thank you.
item, the next item in Albany, 705, FIDA Rest, Inc.
Attorney Thomas Robertson, appearing for FADA Inc., doing business at.
Are you good with this? So will you just make a representation, so you weren't selling beer, they were just taps?
That's correct,
They were
Judge.
still labeled taps? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's-
they-
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
It was,
We'll take another look at it if you
All
want.
right, so I'll send it back to licensing
we're done?
in a
Okay.
second.
Forward, you agree?
Commissioner, good with that?
Have a nice day.
So it's going back to licensing, and you'll hear from them. The application's going forward. Can you hear me?
You're all
Thank
set,
you,
okay?
thank you. I did hear you. There's an interpreter telling me.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
All right, the next item in Albany, 687, City Liquors of Utica.
This is your.
Go
ahead.
Good morning, Chairman. I'm Kevin Hughes from City Liquors of Utica.
Why are you moving?
It's a larger location. I offer my customers more, better selection, and it's in next to a larger grocery store and more conveniently located for my customers near the bus route and better parking.
It's in the Price Chopper Plaza on South Genesee Street, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. I went by there yesterday just to take a look at it. I didn't see any signs in the window that a license is being applied there, so I'm sure it must have slipped off the window. So we'll give you that one. It's in the that outlying building right across the parking lot from Price Chopper, correct?
That's correct. It's a standalone building in a plaza.
All right. Looks pretty empty right now. So
So you're doubling the size of your store.
Approximately.
Why?
I just feel the need, my business has been growing for the past several years, and I feel it's a natural next step in my business.
Okay.
yeah. I think it's a great location, and I don't think you're going to be interfering with anyone else, so I don't have a problem with it, so I'll approve.
I'll vote to approve as well.
Thank you very much.
Fix that sign.
Thank you. Will do.
Last item in Albany, 699, SNR Fayetteville, Inc.
Attorney Thomas Robertson for SNR Fayetteville Inc., principal is Soon Taylor. We're from Syracuse.
Is the applicant there?
That's true.
Oh, okay.
We're Chairman.
And she stand up with you? Because most of the questions are going to be towards her. Why a liquor store? Because it doesn't appear you have any experience.
Well, liquor store can be my great retirement, and since I know so many, well, I do. My major is hospitality management. Yes, I do have experience somewhat. So I was a manager.
Where? Well, I'm sorry. Before I stop, is there anybody in objecting to this there?
No, sir.
Okay, go ahead. So where do you have hospitality experience?
I did the Australia, Melbourne, Australia, about 30 years ago. And yeah, I do have a lot of, liquor store can be a really great business for me and my retirement. And I do have a great the expertise giving me advice. And I've been dealing with a lot of clients who, open the restaurants and liquor store. So I have a lot of experience. Yes, sir. And I can do it.
There's another liquor store, like literally like maybe a 90-second, a 2-minute walk around the corner from you.
Yes, sir. I just stopped by. They have mainly wine, but the niche market is more international, and it's going to be focused on more international and high-end liquor stuff.
The Deckers is advertises and is known as a wine establishment. If you were to if I may, excuse me, if you were to go through the store, you would see almost 95% wine sales specialty wine sales at Deckers, which is up the road about that approximate distance.
It's down around the corner. It's just across the field from Skinny Atlas Jewelers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
Okay, good.
I mean, that's a big store for only doing wine, and they do have a full liquor license.
We were there yesterday, and I
Where's this
was
one?
even surprised that they had any liquor, because they advertise and are just known as wine. Their stock for sale is almost entirely
Talk
wine.
about that in a second.
And what's she going to do other than carry international brands that these other stores aren't doing? Because you have 4 stores in under 3 miles, and one of them is 32,000 square feet, which is obviously, they probably carry everything, so.
Well, that's Wegmans, Liquor City.
I'm focusing on walk-ins and the local, and I will have a ton of the local walk-ins and international people live there.
And also, the Wegmans liquor store is up by the interchanges and by more. I'm sure you know where it is, by the 481, 690 north and south, where this location will serve more of the eastern suburbs of Chittenango, Pompey, Manlius, and Fayetteville.
But just Fayetteville itself has 3 liquor stores. And you want to be the 4th. Is the population exploding there or something?
We like to drink.
There's a big population, yes, sir.
Let's cut to the chase, right? The Liquor City down by Wegmans, that's right next to 481. That's about a mile or two, couple miles down the road. That's a whole different ball game. That's a whole different area. And the other one, the second closest, that's up in the center, up by Carrabba's, up in that area.
That's true.
Yeah. So again, that's a destination. You guys are right on the road there. It's kind of off. It's difficult to get to you how to pull in and out of there, actually, to tell you the truth. You have to go up and around and come back down again to park, and you can't turn left there
Yes, you do.
if you're traveling east. So
Yes, there is a two-way road.
That's a common misconception, and most people do come up and around, but that is 2 ways there,
okay.
up the West Genesee Street. I thought everybody thinks that, but when we did our study, it is 2 ways there. So.
But back to the population. Has the population of Fayetteville gone up, down, flat? Because some of these, the sales of the surrounding liquor stores are not going up, only one of them. The other ones are flat or going down. So why do they need another one?
Because I like to focus on different products, the international.
Well, what makes you think they're not getting those international products?
Well, because they are not, first thing, me being an agent, and I do know a lot of connections, and I know Fayetteville is a ton of a population of international people, so why can I not focus there?
Large Asian population
Yes, sir.
in Fayetteville, Manlius area. And there are new products coming on in the Japanese whiskeys.
But you didn't answer my question. You're telling me none of these stores are carrying those products? It's a driving community, and they're all within 2.5 miles of you. One is within 600 feet.
I did research, and they didn't have a drink that I drink, and yeah, what my clients would drink. So, yes, sir, I can do it. Please.
Yeah. You ready, Chairman?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to vote to deny. I mean, it's literally like right around the corner. Like I said, you could walk to the other store in 90 seconds, and if you could turn left there to go to your store, you could just as easily turn left to go to the other one. So I'm going to vote to deny.
I'm going to vote to deny as well. The sales of the closest store have gone down almost 50% over a 4-year period, and it's only several hundred feet away. And there's 4 stores within 2.7 miles, and one of them is 32,000 square feet. So I don't. They've all objected, or 3 of them have objected. I'm sorry. 2 of them have objected, plus some residents, and indicating that they don't see any public convenience and advantage. And I don't know that other than the international brands that you can't find, there's no evidence that I've seen that says they're not available, especially at the 32,000 square foot store, which is only 2 miles away. So I'm going to vote to deny.
You seem like a fine applicant. I just think that it's not a good location. Thank you.
Paul, is there anything else in Albany?
No, sir.
Okay, we're done in Albany.
You can't, don't disconnect it though, please. I have people there for the, don't.
Jonathan, can you reconnect when you get?
Connect Albany? Albany? Yeah.
All right, the next item is the public hearing on the proposed regulations regarding beer and wine permits and catering permits. First, a reminder again, if you have a phone, to please silence it.
What number is that, Tom?
This will be 710. And as far as the public hearing, this is for the purpose of hearing comments on the proposed regulations. The members are not going to make a decision today. They're just going to hear any comments. We've already received some written comments. There's another 5 days to submit comments, and at some point this will come back before the board for a determination. We'd ask, I know there's a number of people here on this. If you already submitted something, please just summarize what you've submitted. Please try not to repeat what other people have already said, all right? And then we'll go from there. Anything else you want to add, Chairman?
No, other than, as you said, it's a proposal. These rules, I expect, are going to change significantly before we even vote on them.
Okay.
So,
And so there won't be any really back and forth between the members and the
well,
speakers?
there may be.
Well, unless you want it
Yeah, right.
and want to be here for a while. All right, so 7:10, so I would ask anybody who wants to be heard on this to please come up over here, and then you can make your way to the podium. And don't forget to, please announce who you are when you get to the podium. Thank you.
Oh, and the other thing, did you say this? We are still taking written
Yes,
comment
we are
for
ta-
how
so-
long?
So I would ask, if you have anything written, please don't hand it in today. All right, if you've already handed it in, which you have, Mr. Bookman, you don't need to hand it in today. All right? You have another 5 days to submit it,
No.
but you're on probation now.
Too late.
Long-standing probation. Good morning. My name is Robert Bookman, the law firm Brzezinski and Bookman. I'm here today as counsel to the New York City Hospitality Alliance. Thank you for this opportunity to comment on these proposed rules. The Hospitality Alliance is, as you may know, a not-for-profit trade association representing thousands of businesses in 5 boroughs that are licensed by the New York State Liquor Authority. Many of them have contacted us with concern about these proposed rules. You know, the recommendation of the New York Law Revision Commission in 2009, and the legislature amended a declared policy of the state of New York to include supporting economic growth, job development, and the state's alcohol beverage production industries and its tourism and recreation industries as a foundational principle of the authority's mission. Under the leadership of Governor Cuomo and you, Chairman Bradley, the authority has been a source of great innovation in the area of business-friendly alcohol regulation. New York State is once again a leader in the regulatory policy that supports the economic engine of our state while simultaneously protecting the health and welfare of its inhabitants. Unfortunately, we think the proposed rules strike the wrong balance. The Alliance understands the authority's need to address the misuse of one-day off-site permits by a small minority of operators, but the proposed rules we feel are overly inclusive, and they basically throw the baby out with the bathwater. Specifically, proposed rule limiting licensees to 4 one-day caterers permits per year for events of 1,000 or more will have a significant negative impact on several legitimate catering businesses in New York City. For example, one Alliance member contacted us, a very prominent caterer, does first-class catering business, stated they held 26 one-day events of 1,000 people or more in 2017. Such events are the lifeblood of many caterers and in the aggregate generate millions of dollars of revenue for the state. Moreover, the proposed rule limits venues' ability to host more than 4 large events per year, will have a significant negative impact on the city's important convention industry, where off-site venues are regularly booked for large events. The number of spaces in New York City where you can have a large event are limited, and many of these spaces are not interested in being in the catering business. They're interested in being in the space rental business, and limiting them to 4 per year would have an extreme negative impact on many large not-for-profit and other types of events that take place there. These caterers that I'm talking about and these venues that I'm talking about are not hosting warehouse parties. We get that. We get that's an issue that needs to be addressed. But these are catering ceremonies, galas, charitable functions, political functions, weddings, conventions, hobby conventions, corporate events, and the like. We feel that there must be a way for the authority to address its valid concerns about the misuse of one-day permits without damaging the city's well-established legitimate catering and convention industry. One potential or obvious solution to us would be to exclude holders of catering establishment licenses from the proposed rules. Catering establishment licensees are in the business of catering events, large and small. That is why the authority has licensed them to do so. By excluding catering establishment licensees, the city's legitimate catering industry may continue to hold the types of off-site events that the authority should be encouraging, while simultaneously addressing the issue of one-day permit misuse by licensees whose main business is not catering. I will also, in closing, tell you that, as you are aware, the city just passed new legislation creating an Office of Nightlife Affairs. Along with that, the legislation was an advisory board, a 12-member advisory board to the Office of Nightlife Affairs. I have been appointed to that board. I commit to you that at our first meeting, the issue of misuse of these one-day permits in New York City is something that I will put on the agenda, and I think it's an excellent item for the State Liquor Authority to work with the new nightlife office on how do we preserve legitimate catering while dealing with the abuse of these one-night parties. So thank you for giving us the opportunity. We look forward to working on a solution.
And I am going to hold you to that commitment.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Jackie, you feel free to ask questions because this affects your life too.
I know. I think I'll hear them all first.
Yeah.
Once again, I also...
Well, and just before you get going, I did read, I read all the submissions, but I read yours twice because you were talking about, I didn't know whether I misunderstood what the rules were, and I think you do. We're not asking for approval from community boards or the police, or that you meet with them. All we're saying is notice, that's it, which is basically a letter. It is, yeah, you just have to put it towards your mouth. No. Is that on, Jonathan? Can you go check it? Yeah. Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, it's on. Okay. Whenever the notifications go out.
Turn up the speaker.
Generally are reactive.
But that's not, and that may be the case, I wouldn't deny that, but that doesn't mean I'm going to ever hold anyone to go meet with them about a catering permit. That's not going to happen. But go ahead. I just didn't want you to think that we were I realize you don't agree with the notice at all, and I get that, but it doesn't go beyond notice. Since, as long as I'm sitting here, it won't, but go ahead.
When you start with the notification procedures, you end up doing asking recommendations from the community boards. Why wouldn't you be in that?
But see, the problem is, and not on every event, and certainly not on the events you're talking to me about, or Mr. Bookman was talking to me about, but on numerous events, I am getting those conversations from them, and I'm trying to avoid that.
Hang on a second, Mr. Cosell. Can we turn up the speakers here in the room, Jonathan? That,
Turn up the mic for the podium.
yeah,
Ask one to come up and.
okay.
But you're being taped, so I can hear you. Go ahead.
Even the procedures themselves, I don't receive comments from other council, I spoke to Daniel, for example, about the timing and what's needed to get to that first stage. Using certified mail, return receipt, stamped copies, the release of email, FedEx, some other mechanism as a tool.
Yeah, that language can be adapted.
As well, if you're putting in an appeals procedure for this type of activity, it means you're expecting comments, you're expecting to be heard, and the timing of 30 days, 15 days. You really want 1,000 people who got tickets waiting outside of.
I can assure you that my intention, and I don't believe Ms. Held's intention is to allow the community board to hold the process up whatsoever.
No,
If they don't get back to us with a recommendation one way or the other, and it doesn't mean I'm going to listen to it, then it goes on just as it would normally. The problem that I'm trying to avoid, which Mr. Bookman hit upon, is that I'm having these conversations with the police department or with these community boards, and frequently I'm having them 2 hours before this permit has to be approved. And they're not productive conversations as a result of that. That's the only reason, and a lot of the reason that those conversations are happening as late as they are is because they're finding out about it as the parties are being set up. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
The entities that are in the application, except for the temporary beer, wine, and cider permittees, they are licensees. They're vetted by the agency already. In general, why restrict those types of entities already vetted by you if they have done something that has proved to be a problem? I would think the authority would have visited upon those permittees, those licensees, and prevented them from getting additional permits.
But you do understand that we vet them at their location for what they're proposing to do. If you have a bar that holds 40, their maximum occupancy is for 40 patrons, and now they're hired to provide food and beverage or cater an event that's holding 3,000 people, that's not what they're vetted for.
If you have done something that is incorrect, you have that vet when that event occurs. You can't visit those.
So you want to be reactive, trying to be proactive here.
They're licensees. You vetted.
Correct, but the problem, one of the problems, and I recognize, my intent here is obviously not, or our intent is not to jeopardize legitimate catering, and that's why these rules right now are proposed. But back to Ms. Held's point, there are other permits that these licensees are required to get in order to have certain off-site parties. The problem is they're getting them when they shouldn't. And we're finding out they shouldn't have gotten them after the fact. And it becomes a safety issue that whether these other agencies are concerned about it or not is not my business. I am. And I think anyone that's in this business recalls a article in a local New York newspaper where they were having a party on a brownfield. That luckily the fire department did get wind of it 2 hours before the party started and it didn't go through. But I can't tell you, I've had parties that the permits, because the licensee was a legitimate licensee, and they went and got a permit from us because they had every right to get it. And then we found out after the fact that where they were having the party, they had no right to be on the property because they falsified documents. And we would have found that stuff out had there been notice to either the police department or the community board. They lied on the application.
Assuming that for the most part, you're asking people to file applications, they're truthful and accurate with the applications they file. If they're not going to do that, then the whole process isn't worth anything anyway. So the presumption is if you're going to make a process which invites people to do certain things, we're assuming what they're going to do is correct, that it's legitimate. Otherwise, why bother in the first place?
Well, and a lot of times what they're doing with these city agencies is not legitimate, and I feel a need to protect the public, I mean, because these are not small parties, they're all over 1,000 people, and they end up being just free-for-alls, and for whatever reason, the police have been less than, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Forthcoming in telling us that they're going to have a problem with it until after the fact. But I understand what you're saying. We're not trying to put a bigger burden or limit legitimate events like Mr. Bookman's events that he was talking about or what you're talking about. That's not the intention here at all, and that will not be what the rules look like when they do come for a vote.
Set aside, like I said, most of my comments are in writing, just highlighting one or two more things. One would be that we're not sure what you mean by point of sale. For the most part, my sale point is to be online. Sold tickets, is that my point of sale?
Well, that's been a policy of the agency since before I got here, is that it would always be pre-sale tickets, open to the public. Oh, he's talking about open to the public.
Additional permits.
Right.
That may be required.
I have an event, we've gone through with the agency for various different events that I've come and prepared and pre-filed with the agency so you would know what my client was doing. And we honed in on where the products are being passed from the, to the consumer. And is that the point of sale? Where do you, it doesn't be we need to clarify what we mean by point of sale, so we know how many permits would be needed in a particular event. Otherwise, in one event, in first day of, let's say, a 2 or 3 or 4 day event, you'll run out of permits.
Right, I read that in your submission too. However, we deem an event, like say the event is from a Friday to a Sunday, and it's on multiple days, multiple, whatever, points of sale, permits, that is an event. We will only classify that as one event, not because you've used 12 permits for that event
But
and
we
you're
can
tapped
clarify
out.
that. Yeah.
I'm seeking clarification with
Right, we can do that.
With respect to the temporary beer, wine, and cider permits, there's an exception that's carved out for the non-for-profit charities, et cetera. Why wouldn't you do the same thing for someone who already, under the consent decree that many of the wholesalers suppliers are working under, when they dealt with and have to deal with a charitable entity, the charitable entity is encouraged to either get a charitable permit if it's an auction, or more importantly, get an on-premise licensee or a caterer to get the caterer's permit for that particular event. In other words, the mechanism is go and get a caterer to cater the affair to which we, the wholesaler supplier, etc., can donate our products to. Now you're telling us, well, we're not going to carve out an exception for you under that purpose. Why not give them the same exception you give a temporary beer and wine licensing?
It was never discussed or asked for. We certainly can consider it. I never thought about it.
I wouldn't have any of this, but if you're going to have it, if you already have a carve out for the temporary beer, wine, and cider permittee, somebody who never had a license before, so you're giving a carve out, give the same carve out to somebody who already has it, like I said, a legitimate on-premise, a legitimate caterer should have the same combination for accommodating somebody in a charitable area.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. All right.
Thank you again for bringing this up as a hearing, to the next comments they're making, and hopefully we'll consider some alternatives to what's proposed today.
Thank you.
Jonathan, before the next speaker, is there anything we can do about that microphone? Is it just the angle it's at, or?
So it's recording, it's just not,
Talk into it.
Testing.
Yeah, that's not working.
Did you click the button up there by chance?
No.
Are you?
By me, yeah. You want me to turn them all off? You sure you want to do that?
No, there's a podium button.
I know. It's on. Oh, no, yours isn't. Should that be on?
Yes, there you
Yeah. You did it.
Mark,
Testing.
Mark, come back up again.
No, we got it.
We need somebody under 30 years old.
it's just like at home, everything's my fault too, so I'm used to it.
Good morning. My name is Chris Davini. I am the general manager for Abigail Kirsch Catering's off-premises division. Abigail Kirsch operates in New York City and in New York State, as well as Connecticut, both in on-premise locations as well as a vibrant and robust off-premise catering business. We have been in operation for 40-plus years in New York, and 30-plus of those have been in New York City, catering large events like we're talking about. And I will be brief. I appreciate, Mr. Chairman, your comments that the intent here is not to affect caterers that are truly in the catering business. I appreciate that. I also expected that, so I just want to talk a little bit about our business to help maybe differentiate from the businesses that you propose to affect this on. Our business, when it comes to clients for 1,000 and up, are large-scale corporations and philanthropic organizations. For these events, these are not ticketed events, although in the non-for-profit world, of course, someone is buying a seat. These are vetted clients, and you would know many, if not most of the names to the clients we're catering to. All of these events have significant food portions to them, as well as beverage portions. A typical event that we would cater for 1,000 or more would be a multi-day conference, and up front for a media company, a gala dinner, holiday parties, sales training, corporate entertaining. And an example of a recent event of 1,000 or more was a 2-day conference at a venue that was 1,000-plus people, all-day conference followed by cocktail receptions in the evening. Although this event did not have in the sequence, it would be common for an event like that to also have a welcome dinner or reception. So there could be 3 events associated with this of 1,000 or more. The new statute, as discussed, would almost exhaust our year's ability to cater, as well as the venue. Would have another 362 days to sell, but they'd have a real issue with the licensing. And this venue has 2 businesses. It's a catering business as well as a secondary business, and really doesn't have the infrastructure or the desire to maintain a liquor license. They don't have the inventory, they don't have the people, the process, nor the technical skills. So it would hurt both of us there. I appreciate that is not the intent. I want to share that example with you and say that this statute would be devastating to our business as passed. The last thing I'll mention is part of the statute also was a 30-day notice for a permit, which sounds for 1,000 people very normal as a request. And I would say 5 or 6 years ago certainly was normal, but our business has become very, very short term, really from the economic turmoil of 2008 through 2010. It is carried through. 30 days would preclude some events from processing. Currently, there's a 15-day application process, which has been working well. That 30 days would be a hardship as well.
What's your normal turnaround time for an event that size?
It wouldn't be uncommon for the event that size to book the venue outside of the term, but to commit to a caterer, I'd like it always to be outside of a month, but we take calls quite often for 2 weeks, 3 weeks out, and there are certainly times when I'm personally on the phone or in emails with the State Liquor Authority about an event for a couple days away to see if we can do it. And we, of course,
Maureen, she's right there, so she's been having those. She'll take those calls.
And we, of course, and as you will see, have I believe, an impeccable record over the 30-plus years of operation.
Maureen, I didn't know you were there. If you have questions for any of these guys, feel free to ask them.
Okay, I will, thank you.
And Paul, too?
Will do, Chairman.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, I do have, so how many thousand, so assuming the event you just described, that in our mind would be one event?
Actually, 2 events from an application standpoint.
Okay, but as far as a number, and that number we put in there was a test to see what the response would be. It's obviously low, so how many do you do with over 1,000 a year about?
It varies, and I'm sorry that I did not come with that information.
Are we talking about a dozen?
Yeah, it would be in that area, and then, however, there's perhaps 6 hotels and 4 to 5 catering establishments, one of which is an Abigail Kirsch establishment, that can cater events of that size in New York City. Beyond that, it falls to really 3 or 4 regular venues that we'd be working in. Those venues would have 4 or 5 caterers throughout the year in there doing large events. So they may have 50, 60, 70, 80 days worth.
And these are licensed venues that turn their license off for the catered event, or are they unlicensed?
Primarily unlicensed venues. Unlicensed for the Liquor Authority, correct.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Brett Herman. I'm an independent event producer, and if you'll forgive, I have my notes on my phone. We've long been in the process
You guys seeing this, you old guys? The notes are on the phone.
We've long been in the process of notifying police and community boards for large-scale events, and we think that this is a common-sense requirement. In a city of 8.5 million, there's a tremendous dearth of venues with a capacity over 1,000 people. If a venue is unwilling or unavailable, for whatever reason, to host a proposed event, and as a producer, your job is to make an event happen. What choice do you have? If an existing space might not be suitable for whatever reason, say you need to drive in a promotional vehicle. There have absolutely been bad actors and very much an abuse of the process, and I applaud the authorities' intent to fix this. But I do think this is leaving a huge gap for legitimate caterers, venues, and event producers who have substantial business investments.
So what kind of, when you talk about you're an independent party producer or event producer?
Yes.
What types of events are you producing?
Music festivals, concerts, done food fairs, everything.
For what locations? Can I just butt in for
Sure,
1
yeah.
minute? Or what type of locations are you applying for with these permits?
Well, the New York Expo Center is one.
Okay.
And then we've also done just raw spaces. And then, so yeah, generally places that are not licensed.
Okay, parks and,
Yes.
okay, all right.
And you're licensed or you use catering?
No,
caterers?
we hire caterers.
So as far as the caterers go, say at a music festival, how are you dealing with the food requirement?
We have full menus available. All the caterers provide food. So,
Okay.
My concern is primarily with the limitation of permits for the caterers and for the venues. That because there are so few places that can accommodate more than 1,000, that's going to put a tremendous strain on the choice of events that a venue can accommodate or that a caterer can do. If they're going to choose obviously the most profitable that they can if they only get to do 4 events per year. And so in practice, we feel this would be putting a lot of producers, caterers, and small venues out of business.
Well, 1,000 people is not small. In my view, I mean, 1,000 people is a big venue, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So it's not putting a small venue out of business. It might put a big one out. I'm not going to argue with that, but.
Well, there's a lot of places that we've worked that are raw spaces that are landlords.
Well, that's the concern is the raw spaces.
Sure.
Because
which is a legitimate concern. I agree.
And I'm not, I don't even know where you have done things, so this isn't a reflection on you, but these raw spaces many times are completely unsuitable from a safety level.
Sure.
And I've been around this city long enough to have seen, or even in the country, to have seen really bad things happen because these clubs or these parties were going on and they didn't have the proper fire exits and they didn't have the proper sprinkler systems or whatever the case may be. And our experience has been, at least since I've been here, or my experience, is that the examination that's supposed to be going on by other agencies is not happening at these raw spaces. And we don't really have any other way, correct me if I'm wrong, to vet these places.
No, other than the fire inspection that we asked for on the large
Sure.
venues.
The Department of Buildings inspects regularly, and
well, that's not my experience.
Like we've had events where we've had 7 visits over the course of one event, and I think, especially in recent years, like they've been a lot more proactive. My concern is just mainly that with such a few, with the limitations on the caterers and the limits per events, that
Well, I've already
Yeah.
acknowledged that that
For sure.
limit is obviously low, so.
Okay.
I mean, given the comments and given having talked to people since these went out, it's clear to me that that number is low.
Sure. Yeah, and it just, that my concern is that there's a pathway for legitimate operators and good spaces to
Okay.
be economically successful.
And you do notify the police and?
Absolutely.
And the community board, even on the raw space things?
Absolutely.
And do you ever hear from them?
Oh, yes. I mean, we've done walkthroughs with the police and meetings every time.
Okay.
Yeah, community boards are sometimes a little harder to get a response from, but, so, yeah.
They only meet like once a month or something like that, right? So
Yeah, I mean,
Based
so
on
then
their
again, if it's 30
concerns.
days, then it's like, yeah.
Your meetings with them, have you ever had to change your venue based on what they've advised?
No, I mean, I've been doing events for about 10 years, so we try to, if there's any doubt, then we're going to change plans very early in the process, so.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Do you have your notes on your phone, Mr. Dano, or what?
I wouldn't be able to see them. Kevin Dano, Dano McMullen and Panoff. First, I'd like to say Maureen does a wonderful job of moving these through when there are issues. And
Yes, she does.
She runs the
Praised
place.
highly.
Maureen, at this time of year, Maureen and I get very close.
I put in a written submission, so I don't want to repeat the things that are in the written submission. I just would like to say two things. One is that the idea that you should send only by certified mail should probably be adjusted. Federal Express should be accepted, and you should probably have that we could submit, when you send certified mail, you get a stamp from the post office that indicates that you've sent it. Waiting when you're having a 30-day period or a 15-day period, waiting to get a card back from the community board is an additional abuse.
We indicated we
You-
can broaden
You
that.
can get it either with a certified mail, proof that of mailing or anything like that. That's one. The other thing that I would like you to consider, and I've put in some potential solutions in my written submission, is that what your appeals process and time when you're dealing with 30 days is going to be very short, and I think you should consider that you don't want to have a situation, which I have seen twice in the past, where there could have been 1,000 people standing in front of a place that didn't have the permit. For me, that's a potential danger on the other side. There's got to be enough time between the time that you decide that you're not going to issue a permit and the time that the event is scheduled for to get the word out that this event is not going to take place. Otherwise, you're going to be reading about all the people who paid for that event
How much
in the
time
New
do you
York
think is
Post.
adequate?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I would say at least 10 days. And I was coming and saying, I was going to come up and say 30 days is not enough, because if you're going to have 1,000 people, people should clearly know that they're going to need this event way more than 30 days in advance. And then I heard the gentleman who does this regularly say that 30 days is too long. That's why you sit up there and I stand over here. I just call to your attention that you do not want a situation in which 1,000 or more people are standing in the street learning at the time of the event that there's not going to be a permit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, Board. Good morning, Maureen and Paul up in Albany. I am Dean Martinez, the president of Great Performances. We feel we're part of the fabric of New York City and the catering world. We employ over 750 men and women that create our events on a daily basis, let it be corporate, social, and non-for-profit events. We have 11 established liquor licenses currently at our locations, mainly cultural institutions, and we apply for over 700 special event license on an annual basis. Within the past 2 years, Great Performances has catered over 70 events, 1,000 or more people. It took 2 years as an example because just 2016 was only 26 events. The year prior to was a larger number. It does vary from year to year. Varies from locations from year to year. A lot of these locations are legitimate locations that all do have temporary public assembly permits that maybe that's a way to connect the liquor license with the TPA for the event as probably offering a
We do that now, don't we?
I'm sorry.
The
Zoned out.
the temporary assembly permits?
Of temporary assembly, this type of public assembly
Yeah,
permits, yeah.
yeah, I
Public-
mean, that, we do. That's where the vetting's not happening.
It's, okay.
I'm sure yours is, because what you're talking about and what I'm trying to deal with are two different things.
Okay, all right. I'm just trying to offer.
And I'm trying to work out the best way to do that, but.
Right. As a possible solution, because a lot of these legitimate venues, if it's in Randall's Island, there's a TPA that's established for the event that has the ground planned and has all the different points of the location. If it's one of the larger venues in New York City, if it's one of the piers, there's a non-for-profit event that I just would like to, it was Planned Parenthood, that was last year. Originally, that, we were contracted for 850 members. As Chris from Abigail Kirsch mentioned, that tickets will sell as it gets closer to the event, as the honoree, as more notice comes about. That event, probably a week before, ended at 1,500 people. And they adjusted the TPA permit for it. We adjusted our quantities for it. It was a growing event until that. It was a successful event for the non-for-profit. It was a successful event for everyone in safety, and NYPD was there as well. But it's an evolving business. It does affect when it comes to how many points of location, and it comes to how many times these venues could operate. Festivals, if it's the New York City Wine and Food Festival, if it's Harlem Meetup or the West Campaign of West Side of Hunger, all these events from a catering position where they're helping along with the food and sometimes along with the liquor licenses as well. And it's important to community, it's important to everyone to share what this experience is. And it would hurt us, it would hurt New York City, and hurt New York State as well. And that's where we just want to voice our opinion. A lot of the points were covered before. We're part of the Hospitality Alliance.
And I have your written submission as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. I'm Carla Rubin from Creative Edge Parties Caterers. I'm the owner of the company. We have been around for 31 years. I've had my liquor license for 21 years. Everybody before me has covered all the points. I think what I would like to really emphasize is two things. One, the time frame. It would be impossible to do this on 30, because what happens in catering is you may know that you have the party, but you end up planning and planning and planning for several weeks, and then finally there's a moment that they say, okay, this is the menu's been approved, everything's been approved, and you go to contract, and that's when you go and you get your liquor license. So you can know about a party for months ahead of time, but you're doing lots of negotiating and tastings and figuring out with the party, and they don't sign the contract until it's all in order. And that sometimes is within a month of the event, easily within the month of the event. I got a party 4 days ago that's happening this Sunday. That's one of the biggest parties I've done all year. That can happen because they canceled another caterer and come over to us. There's a lot of different reasons. So that timing is really a key factor for us. The other thing I'd like to point out when I was hearing the gentleman speak about raw space to a catering company is not that it's raw with wires hanging out of the ceiling, but many times you'll have a brand such as a Target or some very hip company that wants to come to New York, wants to launch a product, and wants to be someplace nobody has ever been. We get that call every day. Do you have a location that we can launch our brand, our movie, our whatever it is, that because they want to be on the cutting edge. So it's not that we go into places that are hanging with wires, but we go in, we would work with a real estate firm. They are legitimate spaces. They do have all the licenses and all the safety aspects that one would look for. So I just want to point out that raw and different.
Oh, no, I'm aware of that. I'm not saying every raw space is a bad space. I'm the first to acknowledge that.
Okay, and then my third point is there's catering and there's catering. In every deli in New York, you've got the word we cater, but there's a group of us that are legitimate caterers. This is how we make our living, the quality of what we do, the quality of our clients, the billing, the dollars that come to the state. It's very, very different. And unfortunately, as an industry, catering is a huge umbrella phrase, but it does not apply the same way to everybody. So I just want to
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Chairman, Board. My name is Ari Adlis. I'm here from BK Venues, specifically the Brooklyn Expo Center and the New York Expo Center. I don't want to rehash what everybody has said earlier, but we have many events that go on throughout the year. We have community events. We have many organizations, charitable organizations that hold events in our space. We also have all sorts of different expos. We have musical events. And what I wanted to know was, I mean, we are a space, we deal very closely with community affairs and a community board. As a matter of fact, with every event that I have in the New York Expo Center, we actually do a walkthrough with the lieutenant from the 41st Precinct and Community Affairs, and we involve the community board as well. So we actually do a walkthrough through the property, as Brett actually attested to earlier. So they know exactly what is happening, how many people are going to be at the event, and everything about the event. The number of just 4 licenses is just way too low, and it would drastically affect, I mean, not only our facilities, but the surrounding community. We involve the community. We basically...
Are you licensed as a caterer or no?
No.
So you just, the New York Expo Center and Brooklyn Expo Center are just space that you rent out? You have the parties, you bring the caterers in?
Yes. Okay, so they're responsible, but it's a fully functional space. I mean, obviously, and everything is there to code. And as Britt said earlier, I mean, we have the Department of Buildings coming down multiple times throughout, so there's the fire department. But as I said, I have community affairs, and the community board actually come down, and the community affairs specifically, their police, you know, in the front of, they're involved in every program that we have over there. And they get all the information about the program, including coming down to the facility, meeting the producer of the program, and actually walking the site with them. And I insist on that with all shows. So we vet very carefully who we have coming into our spaces. And I guess the question I have is, and it's something that you had mentioned, that the difference between some of these raw spaces where you just take a warehouse and, you know, make a party in it, and you might not know what's going inside that specific space, or how many exits there are, and how well lit it is, and what happens if something happens. I mean, out of the exact, you know, we have a proper space, and how would you differentiate? I know you said earlier there really is no way, and that's a tough question.
What you know, the spaces, obviously your space is not a concern, and that's not, you know, I'm not trying to affect your business at all, but what happens is when these promoters find these warehouses and they get one, suddenly every weekend, actually 3 nights a week, the entire summer, they're basically turning it into a nightclub and circumventing the licensing process, because they would not get a license at that nightclub, and then they just keep getting permits. And because so they're not doing what you're doing, if you understand what I'm saying. These aren't parties, these aren't events.
Right.
They turn it into a nightclub, they open it up to the public, and they're not serving food. Right. So that's what we're trying to avoid. But I'm also trying to avoid affecting a legitimate caterer, of which I'm aware there are hundreds.
So that's right.
If not thousands in New York City.
Right. I guess that we involve the community as well. I let all the surrounding blocks, you know, in our area, especially in Greenpoint, I mean, I let them know when we have any shows or any programming and exactly what the program is all about, and they all have my cell number. They can contact me directly if they have any questions. We're very involved with the community.
How many do you do over 1,000 people a year?
For 1,000,
roughly.
I mean, right now in the New York Expo Center, I'd say 20, 30 a year, but we're growing.
Right.
You know, every show we've had there is a repeat show. You know, we've had the Bronx Borough President down, I've had the councilman down, Councilman Solomok. I mean, we're very involved with the community, and we want
And you
to
have a
keep growing.
full-time public assembly permit, or is it a temporary?
Temporary.
So you have to get one for every event?
Correct.
Okay.
So I guess that's really my concern. If any ruling comes out, if there's any, will it be just across the board for every single space because of these warehouse events?
But no, we're trying to avoid that, obviously.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'd be voting on this and not.
I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Is there anyone else who wants to speak? All right, as we mentioned before, the record's going to stay open for 5 days for written comments, and then the matter will be come back at a future board meeting for the members to decide where they're going to go forward from there. And so with that...
And they'll get notice of that.
Yes.
Particularly the people that have submitted objections.
Yeah. All right, so the hearing is then adjourned, and we'll move forward with the rest of the calendar. All right. Next Next item, 750, 51, 52, 53, Harlem Nights LTD.
Are your socks in honor of Mrs. Bush today? Is that what's going on?
What's wrong with my socks?
What number, Tom?
750, 51, 52, 751, 52, 53.
Right, 0123.
Oh, I got it, I'm sure.
Should I do it on my phone? Or no.
Hold
Rob-
on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Robert Romano, I'm here with Mr. Claude Fatou, who is the sole principal of Harlem Nights Limited. We have discussed with counsel's office a CNC in the amount of $8,000 to settle all 4 cases. And Mr. Fatou is here to answer any questions or concerns you may have.
So what happened here? He built a DJ booth?
Well, that's something we'd like to resolve after. I was going to ask Secretary Held how she would like
Donahue.
us to proceed.
Secretary Donahue.
Deputy Commissioner Held.
Oh, okay. Donahue, okay. I wasn't sure if it was a
I wasn't sure you were talking to either.
The charge here, we're here today, I guess primarily for the 4 cases.
Yeah, but one of the charges is the alteration.
Correct.
Yeah.
And what happened was Mr. Fatou had originally applied for, he was given originally on the application what I believe to be incorrect advice from someone who said, don't make the change until after you get your license. He followed those
Because
instructions.
he wouldn't get his license.
I don't know. Actually, the community board had no objection. When he filed for the alteration, they had no objection to the change. So I'm not so sure that,
All right, so he's already been to the community board?
well, do you want to
Several
explain?
times, yes. So the, what they call a DJ booth is really a mezzanine that we built to put all our security camera equipment, our video equipment, our DVR, our TV. Oh, I'm sorry. So what they call a DJ booth is our mezzanine where all the audio and video equipment stands. We do have DJs on Friday and Saturday night, and the DJs sometimes are on the floor, or sometimes they can go up there. It's not necessary that we use it for that purpose, but the DJs can go in the booth. So that's really in an audio and
So when you say video equipment, you're videotaping everybody in the nightclub?
No, we sure do. So
Is that for security or is it for?
No, we have 8 security cameras, and then we also have TVs. So video, I mean everything that has to do with video. Our security cameras, our DVR, our
Oh, so it's like an electronics.
electronics.
Okay.
It's like a giant
All right.
electronics center. Oh, correct. Video. That's what I mean by video.
Okay.
So it's all there, and from there the wires run inside the walls to all around.
Does he have a DJ on his?
I don't know about the
On
DJ
the application,
yet,
yes.
but I know your last 2 amendments to the license, the alteration and endorsement were denied. And
But
them
one of
was
the-
for the audio equipment, mezzanine, coffee tables, chairs,
If I may
the
speak.
live music and
Hold
jukebox.
on
You
one
probably
second.
do have DJs, I just gotta find it in here.
We have a copy of the method of operation.
And the method of operation has DJs on it?
Correct. It has
Okay.
DJ booth and recorded music.
All right, I'll accept the offer then.
I'll accept as well.
Thank you very much. And then we'd like direction from either secretary or licensing office as how we to proceed on an alteration application because it is already there, existing.
File it. File it with explanation.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Next item, 762, The Good Life One LLC. You don't look like Ms. Albert. I'm just,
Stephen Dano, McMullen and Panoff.
Amit Viramachineni.
Any objection here?
What happened with the community board here?
We wrote to the community board weekly, at least 5 times. Plus, I also wrote to Pat O'Brien, who is a person of significance to the community board, asking him. Nobody responded to me. You may recall sometime around, I think it was December 20th or thereabout, 2017, you directed that if I wrote to the community, you actually approved the license, but then Deputy Secretary Held said she wanted to re-review the application to make sure that
But he
every...
granted reconsideration to return it to licensing, because there was a lot of amendments on this application. It
Yes,
went
I
back
know.
and forth. Okay.
I just, so I beg your pardon, Mrs. Held. Anyway, it went back to licensing. Licensing, I believe, has approved it, subject to your approval, but they didn't, you had given instructions that if the community board, we didn't hear from the community board, it didn't have to come back to the full board. They felt that...
So, I mean, what I have here in this packet is two lists of stipulations from the community board. One, your client signed, the other one is unsigned by anyone, but they're different.
Yes.
Why are they different?
Because what happened was, originally, the community board sent us a set of stipulations. And the set of stipulations included things that didn't make any sense. For instance, if I remember correctly, and I think I do, they provided that they would not serve alcoholic beverages outside, but they would stop serving alcoholic beverages outside at 2 o'clock. They also provided that the music would be limited to a portion of the space where there was no portion of the space. So we went back to the community board and we said, we don't understand what you're doing. We'd like to talk to you about this again and try to just clarify what the rules are supposed to be, so we could, and we got no responses from them, and so basically the last time I was here on December 20th, you said, you Mr. Chairman, that I should resubmit the stipulations with the changes that I wanted and ask them, to comment on it or whatever, which we did.
And they never did.
And they never did, and that's what, so.
So you're fine with the ones that your client signed?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's defining the music as into the interior area?
No, I believe that the...
So I'm looking at your edits here.
You took out
Here, do you want to see
the
them?
volume and the interior of the premise.
You want to see them? Yeah.
You signed this one, so what about music?
Well, we said interior here because there was no rear party room, but not to exclude exterior, because that's why they referenced a party room in the rear, which was.
Okay, so the idea was not to only have music on the interior. The idea was that because they had put in a particular party room that didn't exist, so we took out the word party room and just said the interior. But the idea is to have some music outside also.
Well, that's also referenced in item E, where you also took out the interior. So that's, you just want recorded background music inside and out?
Yes. Well, did you want to have recorded, only recorded? Applicant may play recorded background music, play at moderate volumes. They would like to have a live three-piece band, be able to have a live three-piece band, limited at reasonable volumes. For special events, parties, bar mitzvahs.
And what are the hours of this place?
We were fine with the hours that they would.
So when would the music be stopping, the live music?
2 a.m., I think. 7 days a week, they.
No, but when would he stop, if he had a live three-piece band, when would he stop that? If it had to be earlier? 12?
Yeah, we could do.
All right.
And you're going to close the outside at 12?
I think they had outside at 12 during weekdays, and then weekends it would be interior, exterior till 2 a.m. on the weekends. I believe that's what community board had.
Do you want to go back and read those to make sure he's fine with them and then just come back up? I don't want to handcuff him if they're not clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and
Okay.
a few minutes.
Yep.
All right, next item, 685 Sapphire Lounge, Inc.
Good morning, Chairman.
Hi.
Henry Warakomsky for the Sapphire Lounge. This is a new application for a tavern in the village of Valley Stream.
What are the hours in this place?
Well, I don't know if, we got the decision from the village, and it lists the hours we can be open.
Well, are those the hours that you indicated in the 500-foot hearing? You indicated that you were going to be, noon to midnight, Sunday to Wednesday, 3 a.m., Thursday through Saturday?
Friday and Saturday, 3 1 a.m.
And what about outside?
1 a.m. on the outside.
Okay, so those are changed from what you represented in the hearing.
This is the last one they gave us.
Has the village granted a full building permit yet?
Yes, they had it, the board approved it. The board, we went to the town board, the variance.
So all the protests from the village are gone? They said that you're not in compliance with the building
Right.
code?
At that time, they were filing for this variance and the change, and that's why, the original, we had filed the application, we withdrew it because they didn't get the work done with the village. So now everything was completed with the village.
So that your clients know the people that owned this place previously?
No. I think before I think it was an Italian restaurant before, for years.
And what's going to go on the deck outside? Is there going to be music out there?
There's no music out there, it's just furniture and just lounging areas.
Do either of you have any experience running a bar?
No.
So what made you want to do this? Yeah, you can talk into the microphone.
We both have military backgrounds, and we have friends, and we know a lot about it. So we wanted to cater to an older crowd after work, just a place to network and things like that.
Who's June? You're still in the Air Force?
Retired,
Oh,
26
okay.
years.
'Cause I was going to say, that's a long career. You have any questions?
No. I don't have any problem with this. Your hours?
Well, first I want
They're gonna open at 12 noon.
12 noon?
12 noon.
to, why do you believe that the 500-foot law doesn't apply here?
Because this place has been an establishment for, I found the plans with the 500-foot hearing officer.
It has been an establishment, but I did find a gap from March of 2005 to September of 2009.
All right.
Where it went from, it was a license that just expired, and then in 2009's.
But we filed with the 500-foot hearing.
No, I'm just
have it
asking
anyway.
because in the future, should this place not exist, I don't want to deal with this again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'm showing a.
So it is a
300
500-foot,
gap.
okay. All right, so I'll vote to approve on the hours that were submitted on the form that the town approved.
You're going to take those hours with that, 3 a.m.?
It'd be 12 o'clock when they open, because the form doesn't say what time.
I don't
they
care
open.
when they open,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
when they close.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
No, wait.
Wait.
Same here. Okay. Yep. I approve as well.
Okay.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next item is 7:30, J&S Pub, Inc.
There's two violations that we,
All right, next, other item is 780,
Yeah.
same licensee, J&S Pub, Inc.
we gave offers on both of them. There were two disorderly premises violations.
No, one is a focal point. What are they doing to change what's
Well-
happening here?
I brought they sold the place, they've been contracted to sell it. The buyer's application was disapproved because of these pending violations.
Okay.
I have a copy of the contract, if you want to see it.
No,
No, they're getting out.
they're buying the corporation or they're buying,
They're going to a new corporation.
okay. So make sure that's going to come here, right, Jackie?
Which,
The new
so I'm
one?
still on the last one. Oh, the transfer?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, make that come here. I'll accept
So
both.
you want that reactivated?
Yes, yes.
All right.
I'll accept both offers.
All right, thank you.
Same here.
Okay, thank you.
Next item, 688, Desires Wines and Liquors, Inc.
Commissioner Ford, Chairman Bradley, esteemed members of the board, I wish you good morning and good morning to all. My name is Kenneth Belkin of 225 Broadway, Suite 715, New York, New York, 1007. I represent the applicant in this proceeding, Desires Wines and Liquors. Standing to my left is the sole principal, Monica Robinson. She was previously before the board as an applicant for the same corporate entity at the address of 1969 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard, New York, New York. Following a full hearing in front of this
Okay,
board.
so I'm just going to cut you off because we have protesters. We take them first.
Okay,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thanks. You can sit down if you want.
Charles Lynn for the opposition. I represent Harlem Discount Liquor Wine at 2302 7th Avenue. With me today is its principal, Zare Jebayeyes. In addition to that, there's 3 other store owners. Should I have them put their names on the record now?
Sure.
All right. My name is Sin Chan Wan. I'm the owner of the 2215 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard. The liquor store name is Lion Discount Wine and Spirit.
Okay, thank you. If after Mr. Lynn goes, you need to say something more, just let me know.
All right.
Go ahead.
Astier Hapteselasi, 303 West 128th Street, liquor store.
You're 8th Avenue Wines and Liquors? Okay, thank you.
I'm 44467 Lennox Liquor Corp. My name is Maribel Diaz.
Okay, thank you.
There are 8 retail liquor stores already within 2,000 feet of the applicant. That's 0.4 miles. One of the 8 stores in the area are as follows. There are 2 on Francis Douglas Boulevard, also known as 8th Avenue. There are 2 on Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard, also known as 7th Avenue, and 3 on Malcolm X Boulevard, also known as Lenox Avenue, and 1 on St. Nicholas. I put on my submission Exhibit 1, which shows the SLA proximity report for this location, which I added 1 because it stopped at 1,900 feet. Now I put additional 1 to show that there are 8 within 2,000 feet. I have next to my papers a copy of a letter sent by the Harlem Mothers in protest of this application. It's attached as Exhibit 2, and I believe one of the liquor stores also, the one that's the 6th farthest away, PBV US LLC, also submitted a letter in opposition, who's not here today. It's another store. I believe there's a paradox which differentiates this application in determining public convenience and advantage. I annex as Exhibit 3 of the gross sales figures for the closest stores. Here, the 3 closest stores are all Bulletproof stores. This will be an open store, but these 3 Bullet stores are just 1,000 feet from applicant. There are no figures for the closest store, Lion Discount, because it was just licensed on a transfer about 3 months ago. And that gentleman is here. He was licensed January 9th, 2018, just 3 months ago.
But it was open for...
Yes, it had been open for quite a period of time. The 2 other Bulletproof stores, Harlem Discount and 8th Avenue Wines, both have consistent rising sales in the last 4 years, with Harlem Discount reaching $1.4 million in sales in 2017, and 8th Avenue Wine and Liquor reaching $2 million in sales. Basically, this is the sale of nips, minis, pints, and quarts being Bulletproof stores. West Haven, an open store, began in 2014. It shows also increasing sales, $890,000 in 2017. And 467 Lenox Liquors, a 3,250 square foot store, which is also an open store, showing 4 years of increasing gross sales to $3.8 million. The paradox is that these sales figures demonstrate a current huge sale of alcoholic beverages in this community. Normally, that is a strong argument that current demand arguably supports the acceptance of a new store under public convenience and advantage. However, this is the core of Harlem. The avenues of 7th Avenue, Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard, Francis Douglas Boulevard, and Lenox Avenue. These streets have 8 liquor stores with huge cumulative gross sales figures. The Harlem Mothers, which I have attached that letter as Exhibit 2, say there are way too many liquor stores in this area. We need not any more. And the number, I believe the number of stores and the gross sales possibly evidence this. The core of the Harlem residents within these streets, which is from 128th to 139th Street, are densely populated and public financed housing, struggling with a high crime rate and substance abuse, while many of the residents live below the poverty level. In the last few years, I believe that this community has welcomed change, but a majority of the gentrification has been at 126th Street and below, and at the East River and West Side portions of Harlem, many blocks away from where this applicant is. Public convenience and advantage should also concern itself with areas struggling with gang violence, domestic violence, high violent crime, and substance abuse and poverty. A 9th liquor store within a 2,000-foot radius in this community with the shocking level of alcoholic sales already evidenced in this area should not be approved. Just on that statement alone, it would be hypocritical to say that applicant herein, if approved, would further advance public convenience and advantage in this neighborhood. I annexed as Exhibit 4 a statement from the Journal of Studies on Alcohol and Drugs, which was written in September 2001. It concludes that high alcohol density is associated with high rates of violent crime in urban communities. Analysis suggests that alcohol outlets elevate the rate of violent crime within the immediate neighborhood, which is the very argument set forth by the Harlem Mothers. It's therefore respectfully requested that this application be denied.
Thank you. Do anybody need to say anything else? Okay.
I'd like to pick up where I left off before, but I will address some of the points brought up by the opposing parties. As I said before, Ms. Robinson did apply under the same corporate entity last year for a location at 1969 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard. She was denied. Through great expense to herself, she secured a new location, which is the subject of the current application, located at 2480 8th Avenue. Ms. Robinson was born and raised in West Harlem. She is not a stranger to this community. She grew up there. She overcame significant personal turmoil in her formative years and worked very hard for everything she has. For the past 20 years, she worked for the River Bay Corporation from 1996 to 2016 in property management, and she saved up a considerable amount of money, and she chose to invest it in opening a store in the neighborhood she grew up in. Now, with respect to licensed off-premises entities in the area, as the opposition had stated, all of these stores are on an upward trajectory. As even noted in PBV US LLC's opposition letter, multi-billion-dollar conglomerates are staking their claim in this section of Harlem, such as Whole Foods and Amazon. In their opposition letter, they stated that they believe that, these people are trying to take advantage of short-term gains. I don't see it as short-term gains. This is a community that is in flux. Below 125th Street.
And that may be, but you have 8 stores within 4 blocks of each other.
I understand.
So what's the point of adding another one when it looks like the majority of the sales that are happening around the location that she wants to be are Nips and Courts and...
Well, all right, let me differentiate it from the stores. First off, we have the closest one, which is Harlem Discount Liquor and Wine. They are up from 2015. They are up...
See, you're missing my point. I get that they're up, but when you're talking about the distances we're talking about in a walking community, 4 blocks, that's 2 minutes.
Well, look, I would say this. First off, the 3 closest off-premises stores are all bulletproof glass stores, and they predominantly focus on bottom shelf liquor in smaller size bottles.
But the next 3 are the same distance.
Well, the next 3...
I have 6 stores within 0.3 miles. Every one of them is 0.3, which is 4 blocks, about, maybe 5.
Well, I take a different viewpoint on this. I look at the subway stops that these run off of, and she would be operating the only liquor store that would be servicing the subway stop closest to her, which is the A, B, and D line located at 135th and St. Nicholas. Now, the other of the 5 closest stores, 3 of them service the area by the 2-3 stop on 135th and Lenox, and the other 2 are the A, B, and D stops at 125th and St. Nicholas. And further, to opposition's point that the 3 closest are bulletproof within 1,000 feet, that's not true. They're beyond 1,000 feet. The closest one at the time of application was Harlem Discount Liquor and Wine at 1,035 feet, and the second closest one was 8th Avenue Wines and Liquors at 1,205 feet, the third being over 1,500 feet away. And all of these stores have seen significant growth in sales. I view this as not a concern for the community, which is rapidly gentrifying, as evidenced by the opening of a Whole Foods and Amazon.
But I get all that, but I don't understand. You still haven't answered my question. Why do we need to drop another one when I can go 4 blocks this way or 4 blocks this way and get everything she's going to sell?
Less than
the same product.
It's not the same product. They focus on mainly bottom shelf liquor in smaller bottles. She is going to focus on more higher end liquor. She's not going to sell the small bottles and wines, and she's also going to focus uniquely on New York distilled brands. She wants to make it more of a local focused liquor store. In addition, these stores are significantly bigger, the closest ones, and hers really has only 800 square foot of operable retail sales area. And I would say that because of her close proximity, that she's the only liquor store servicing the A, B, and D subway stop line at 135th and St. Nick.
Well, no, she's the only one closest to the stop. You're telling me that someone can't walk 4 blocks?
I had one of my guys out there walking and checking out these stores. It's a significant walk from some of these stores. You got to either walk across town, or I believe it's about 6 blocks downtown to the closest one, or a long walk cross town to Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard.
What's the population? Has it gone up, down?
Population in this zip code is up by 7% from the last census.
So what's it?
I think it's about 66,000 is what I had read. And that's as recently as 2016. By the time, we do the 2020 census, it's probably going to be considerably larger.
Is Roy's Liquor open? Do you know, ma'am?
They are, and he has been a mentor to me. He welcomed me into his store and has trained me significantly.
So is there a reason he didn't provide sales numbers?
I don't believe he's one of the closest stores.
Yeah, he is.
I can't speak to that.
Do you have a relationship with him of any kind?
Just a mentor-mentee.
Well, how did you become a mentor-mentee? Because you don't have any background in alcohol, so.
Well, I was speaking with the community, went into stores, getting ideas and suggestions, and he offered to help me.
How did he help you?
He just let me see the different type of wines he sells, what company.
Does he have any ownership interest in this?
No, not at all.
Did you ever work for him?
No.
I would additionally point the board to the fact that she did petition with neighboring residents. She obtained, I believe it was 63 signatures. She actually obtained over 100, but lost a couple of the sheets. And she did obtain 1 letter of support from the closest corner deli, the Azul Grocery.
Can you check Roy's Liquor and see if there's any history there?
It's a DBA, right, Roy's Liquor?
It's 2618 Frederick. I can give you the number, 1267664.
1276.
1267664.
There's no history.
No history. Okay.
And Roy's been licensed since March of 2013. I do not know why he didn't respond.
But I do feel very strongly that it is in the public convenience and advantage, as I said before, these stores, they're not as close as you would think, and
But what is she doing? You told me what she's not doing. What's she doing that they're not doing?
She's not going to have bulletproof glass.
No, what's she doing that they're not
She's going to
doing?
be selling New York State distilled wines and spirits, a large selection of that. And she's going to be selling a higher quality.
Does she know that these other stores don't do that?
Yes, I
Because we
sent.
just issued one in April of 2015, which is 0.4 miles away, who has objected to it, and,
Miss,
hold on, wait till he's done.
Ms. Robinson did go around to the closest stores and confirm that they were not stocking, or none that she could see anyway. And I sent a colleague of mine by the name of Matthew J. Edwards to the closest stores to also do some reconnaissance and see what their inventory was looking like. The two wine stores, PBV, US LLC, and Harlem Vines, they do sell a lot of wine, but not a lot of liquor. In fact, one of the stores, Mr. Edwards, couldn't see any liquor that was for sale. And at the other store, there was only a very de minimis amount. And these stores focused on, French and imported wines. So there is a difference in her business model, a very palpable one.
I just have a problem with the distances. Yeah. Okay, you have anything?
I had been part of the protest on West Harlem Vines, which is the fourth closest store. And again, there were bulletproof stores, and the authority decided to license the store because it was specifically stated that in his lease, he was not allowed to sell the minis and the nips and whatever the landlord specifically put in his lease, and therefore it's significantly different. And I also state that Friedland Wine and Liquor, which I included in my list, which is about 1,900 feet away, which was not on the proximity list, but also that other store that sells like 3.2 million. I can almost positively think that they, having such large store and such large sales, that they too would sell other types of wines, higher end wines. And then again, we fall back. Everybody who's on the edge here that goes before the board immediately says,
Oh, I
we're
know,
going to
yeah,
send
I
the,
know.
you know, the New
All right,
York wine.
thank you.
Yep.
That's the magic words, right? You have any questions?
No. I'm ready to vote.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think that
Okay.
concludes it.
I think we covered everything here. I like the fact that you're offering to be an open floor plan as opposed to a bulletproof, with the three closest being bulletproof. And looking at their sales, they appear to be holding their own. Actually, it maybe even gone up a little bit, a few of them here. But even with all of that, I can't see the need for an eighth or ninth store within 3 or 4 tenths of a mile. I just don't see that, and so I don't know that there's a public convenience and advantage to be met here. There's a license in 2014, one 2015, and one of those actually just a couple months ago in 2018, although it was previously licensed in 2013. So I just don't see the need for another liquor store. I'm sorry, I vote to deny.
I would have voted to approve, but because he denied, it's denied.
Thank you.
Can we take 2 minutes?
All right, we're going to take a All right, we are back on the record. We are going to recall item 762, The Good Life.
Stephen Dano again, and Amit. First, I'd like to point out to you, if I may, that this is not in a
You're right.
residential area. This is in a commercial area. The surrounding, there's no residential houses surrounding them. And thank you very much for giving me the chance to take another look. I want to give this back to you. I have one. Going to give you my wish list, or my client's wish list. First of all, the stipulation A, the way we read it, it's Friday and Saturday night till 2 a.m., and the rest of the night, the rest of the time closing at 12. What? For the outside. And we're happy with that. Every night, the inside till 2 a.m., outside closing at 12 except for Saturday and Sunday. And that's how we read this stipulation. We would like to be able to, and there's a note on your paper asking whether there would be dancing, and yes, there would be dancing when there's parties and things like that. There would be dancing, and interior there would be dancing. We would like to have outside music. It's a side yard. Where keep the volume at reasonable levels, but if you want to limit it, the second wish would be to at least be able to have three-piece bands and pipe music out.
Do these stipulations deal with the outside music at all, though, or no? I just see C says.
Yeah, but E says. If C says only, it talks about the interior. E on page 3, the interior is crossed out, indicating that it would be outside music.
Okay.
It appears on the ones that you wrote, or the ones that you marked up, you've added language in there also?
We did add
Because I'm
language.
looking and I'm saying that these are not identical.
No, we did add language also, and we sent this on what we signed.
Well, I know you
because-
sent it to them and they didn't.
Yeah, because what happened is, again, they talk about, they said they're including side yards and rear, if any, they wrote in, when we crossed it out, we wrote in that our application shows that we intended to use a side yard. So we wrote it in to make sure that they understood that. This is the reason that we were going back to them, because the application talks for a
Yeah,
side.
and they had, I mean, at this point, it's not a 500-foot case. They had their chance to weigh in on this, and they didn't.
So it's going to be kind of confusing to figure out which steps we're going with.
Well, I don't.
Just give me an idea.
I
what
mean,
they're gonna
they
want.
haven't even approved these steps, so I don't know that I'm going to make him abide by these.
Well, just then give me the outlines of what this
Yeah, that's what I'm
license
going to, I
have.
think that's what we're going to have to do. So you're happy with the hours?
Yes.
So the hours will be 2 a.m. He can be open 7 days a week. The hours are going to be 2 a.m. each morning following each day it is open, except it shall close the outdoor area of the establishment by 12 a.m. each morning following Sunday through Thursday. So he can stay, the outdoor area can stay open until 2 on Friday and Saturday. And the other days it needs to close at 12. They can have music, recorded music outside?
I'd like to have live music outside as long as it's not in a residential area. What's the difference?
What, are you looking at the map?
Yeah. I see could be like a couple of homes nearby, but
The outside area is the area to the left of your building. It's a long building.
Yeah,
Why don't you show them on the, give me one
Here,
second.
show it, look right here.
Yes, go ahead.
so this is the existing building.
Yep.
Here's our side yard. We're actually building an extension, so this outdoor area is gonna be enclosed by a building to the south and east. And then the west and north, we're gonna have a new taller fence. And then also.
Okay, but that's this area right along here, correct?
So it'll be about 67 feet deep, our extension will be 33 feet deep.
That's right, I remember.
So is this your yard over here, or is it just that strip?
Yeah.
You also have
Just
this.
east of here,
Okay,
just east of here, yeah.
okay. Oh, I see.
So Jackie, on further on, There's no use of promoters, event planners.
Well, you wanted event planners.
I
correct? Or you
want to
taking
be,
them out?
in terms of event planners, if somebody's having a wedding or something, like, those kind of event planners we would like to have.
Okay, but you also
promoters,
indicated
no.
you wanted to cover, you wanted to be able to have an opportunity for cover charges.
Yes, that also, but that cover charges doesn't mean event planners or
Well,
promoters.
see, I'm trying to incorporate as much as I can to what the community board asked for, and here you're saying that shall not at any time charge or allow any other person or entity to charge any admission, cover, or other fee.
A third person, yes.
Okay.
So promoters, you don't deem event planners. They're two different people in your
They're two
view.
different people, yes. A promoter is an event planner.
So event planner's not going to promote whatever they're doing.
An event planner for me is somebody, you want to have a wedding, and you hire an event planner who.
You don't have a cover charge for a wedding.
No,
So I'm looking for those.
no. He's talking about having a cover charge for.
Third parties.
No third-party cover charge. He's talking about he might want to have a cover charge for himself, but not an event planner, and no third party, right?
Okay, keep going with the list.
Except that, as I said, if I were going to have a wedding, that person
But
I
that's
call event
that's a
planner.
buyout. They're going to buy out the whole place for a wedding, I'm assuming.
But I call that person an event planner. That's the person who helps you plan a wedding. We're on the same page here, what we're talking about.
All right.
That's it?
No.
Oh.
The music, you can have music outside and inside. The music has to stop outside by 11, inside by 12.
I'm sorry, sir.
I mean, live music. As far as background recorded music, that can go on till you're shut. But the live music outside has to shut by 11.
Okay.
So they can have a DJ, live music, karaoke. You're indicating you're having no security guards. I'm not really comfortable with that. So they need to have at least one security guard on Friday and Saturday nights.
Okay. There has to be a licensed security guard. Yes. Good.
That's it for me. Anything I'm missing?
Same here.
Okay, so I just want to make sure with regard to the music, they can have after 11 o'clock outside.
Background recorded music. No DJs after 11.
Oh, DJs, no live music after 11, but outside recorded music is okay.
Till you're shut, yeah.
Thank you
And
very
then
much.
inside, you can have till you're shut live, 12 live, and DJ can go till you close.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We really appreciate.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So DJ inside till they close, DJ outside till 11?
Yeah.
All right, the next items, 766, 767, 768, 769, 770. Nystog Imports Corp., NYSTOG.
Nobody here.
All right, that was Mr. Joffrey. Someone signed in for that.
We asked them to mark it off and signed it by mistake.
Oh, I didn't get that message. All right. 696.
So hold that one for later there, Mr.
We'll get back to that later, unless Mr. Joffrey shows up. 696, Al Shaddai Deli Corp. I'm just going through my list.
Yeah.
Your partner signed in before you did. Well, you get to go first, because he's annoying me now, so. Hold on.
This is after a hearing. I'm sure you've reviewed my controversion. I just want to point out, I'm not going to go through every individual point, but I want to point out the town of Brookhaven initially had issued a condemnation order. That was vacated by the town without any work being done on the premises. And then after it was vacated, I think there was a latch on the office that had to be corrected, and a rear exit lock that had to be removed or corrected, things of that nature. But it was, it's just issuing a condemnation order and coming up with all of this, and then vacating the condemnation order. It just, in my mind, just is an abuse of authority by the town itself. When you go through my controversy and you look at the charges and how this, I mean, with regard to taking a part of a long walk-in refrigeration unit, and it was on the plans with the town initially. It wasn't on the SLA diagram.
But what about the fact that this was a deli?
Yeah.
And it turned into a club? I mean, that's the way I read this. It turned into what amounted to like a nightclub.
They had full food service. In fact, one of the violations that were written up was that the chicken was left out in the kitchen.
I'm not saying there wasn't food. That's not what I'm saying. But it wasn't operating as a deli.
Well, it wasn't operating as a club either. The place was in the process of closing down. There was a handful of people in the place at the time. The daughter and the daughter left. There's the daughter and the mother that run operate the kitchen and do cooking and whatnot and manage. The daughter had left. She holds the food handlers, the food permit. She had left because the place was closing down. It was the end of the night, so there was no big party going on. There was a portable DJ thing set up. It's not a built-in DJ booth.
They weren't permitted to have a DJ. They were letting people walk out of the premises with open containers. They weren't. That's not my idea of a deli with it. I have never gone in a deli with a DJ.
Mr. Chairman, I don't recall walking out with open container. I might be wrong, but I don't recall that. I mean, you've got a bottle. I mean,
the reason, and you know the reason why we end up in places, and the reason we ended up here was because of the DJ, and because it became something that it wasn't supposed to be.
I think you ended up here because the town of Brookhaven did a condemnation order on it.
Well, I don't think the DJ helped them.
No.
They're selling scotch.
It wasn't even a DJ set. No, but again, if you look at the record and you look at my controversy, the only thing that there was a partial filled bottle, one bottle of whiskey that was found in a corner. But the test, okay, but from that you get that you're purchasing from unauthorized source.
Oh, but you're certainly not supposed to be warehousing a bottle of scotch when you have a restaurant wine.
So a patron sneaks a bottle in.
Now, these guys weren't, having read this, and I've only read the decision, but having read this, the word that came to me was illegitimate. These guys are not legitimate operators. So I don't, there's no amount of money that's going to keep them open.
I would ask that you review my controversy.
I did.
And before. Oh, I thought you said you only read the decision.
No, I mean, I read your controversy, but as far as the facts of the case, I read the decision, and, I'm at revoke with a 2-year prescription. I mean, this place was not a deli. It was supposed to be a deli with a restaurant wine, which to me means you go in and you get a sandwich, you might have a glass of wine. There's no DJs or, I don't know where you are.
They have much more than sandwich.
I never saw their menu.
Well, it's in the record.
I'm not questioning that they sold food. I know they did, but they also were selling a lot of other things, including music.
What?
Music.
They weren't.
Where are you?
Well, I read your controversial letter too, and I got to hand it to you, Counselor. You did a great job.
He always does.
He always does. He did a very, very excellent job. I still think in total, though, it's just not what the place is named. It's not a deli.
You think all these charges should be sustained based on what you're reading?
Yeah. So I'm going to sustain 1, 2, and 3, withdraw 4, sustain 5 and 6, dismiss 7, sustain 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, withdraw 18, sustain 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, withdraw 27, and sustain 28.
I'm not at revoke. I'm at cancel. Cancel and bond.
I mean, they've been in operation. I mean, once without any kind of incident.
I'll cancel and bond them.
Yeah. Just cancel and bond, that's it.
Can't commit otherwise. Good luck. I'm just curious, did you sustain the trade name violation, or was that withdrawn? No. So I'm just curious. I mean, I don't know what they have. I mean, the sign outside says El Shade Deli. You don't need a trade name certificate when you're doing business as your corporate name. It's just, I mean, everything here is.
What number was that?
I'm sorry, the trade name. There's so many, so.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to ferret it out. Let's put it this way, if you can find it, I'll dismiss it.
Is it on this group of charges or some other?
Pick a card.
It's not on this group of charges.
What?
I don't think it's here.
I didn't see it either. That's
Wasn't a
why,
trade name one, maybe I'm wrong.
that's the next one coming down. All right, cancel and bond.
All right.
Have a good day.
All right, we're going to take, since he's standing up, 763. It's Fulfane Ltd.
Afternoon, Martin Miller of Miller Buscemi.
Give him a second because we had it in a different order, so.
I know, I'm sorry.
Go
I know,
ahead.
I know I signed myself in
703.
first. I know I don't like to follow my partner, but
I'm sorry, which one?
Which one is it?
763.
I got it. So the one question I had is, on the application, he indicates that there's pending disciplinary actions on this?
Well,
Is that wrong?
No, at the time, it wasn't wrong. It's since been canceled, the
Okay.
previous license.
And he has no connection to the,
No connection at all, and unlike Mr. Danow's client, we signed
Yeah, I
a
see
stip
that.
with,
So-
and we agree to all of what they want.
You agree to all the steps, right?
Everything. Yeah, we signed it, yes.
how many are within 500 feet of this place? You know?
I know there's at least 3. I can't tell you the exact.
All right, I'll approve based on, with all the steps incorporated into the license.
Same here.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
That's it.
Next item is 703, 525 Drive-Through Inc.
Good morning, members of the authority. Michael James appearing with Erlinda Kleber, who's the principal of the applicant. I'm not sure if you're
So so you had a sale to a minor when she was under a temp?
Yes.
How'd that happen?
She was approved at the time. She was not at the location. At the time, she had a trainee.
Oh, she wasn't on a temp, she was approved?
She was approved, but she was on the temp. We had not.
Oh, okay,
We didn't
all
pick
right.
up the
All right,
license.
she was conditionally approved, okay.
Right. So we've complied with the conditions as of now, but after that incident happened, the decision was reversed and she was disapproved based on the fact that she showed a lack of character. I believe the words were.
Well, the expectation is if you're on a temporary permit, that we would be receiving, exemplary behavior.
Right.
You don't expect violations when you just first get a permit.
And we,
So.
that is noted.
So, I'm willing to reconsider this, but all of her employees have to take ATAP, including her, and she needs to buy a scanner.
Okay, she's
And
already taken it.
but she needs to buy a scanner that we're going to approve of. There are scanning companies out there that have highly technical scanners that are very beneficial in identifying fake IDs. They're almost foolproof. So I'm sure you can do some research and find there's a few companies that do it, but that's going to have to be approved by enforcement.
It says reconsidering going back to
Oh,
license.
who? You? Well, can you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, then licensing can do it.
Okay.
Back to licensing.
Thank you. Have a good.
Next item, 714 Rushmeyer's Wine LLC.
Hello, Jacqueline Ziegler for Rushmeyer's Wine and my clients.
Briotaro Alamatoki.
I think we've produced the documents that you requested for reconsideration for him. Can answer any of your questions that you have in relation.
So we have the promissory note from the mother. The mother needs to fill out a personal questionnaire, which I'm sure they're going to ask you for, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's fine.
And does his family own a liquor store?
No, it's his, he's gonna help his family with finances afterwards. It's.
No, I'm just wondering, so what got him interested in the wine business?
Oh, because his mother is involved in restaurants. He's worked in some restaurants, interned. They've had retail. He knows the area's starting to boom, and they have They're set up to do wine, they want to do wine and sake. They're big into the Japanese community. It's something different than what's normally involved in the area.
Would you approve this at the licensing board level, or would it end up coming here?
What do you mean, would I have approved it?
No, I mean, this is a wine store, right?
It's a wine store, yeah. I don't
Given
think
the
it's purchased.
neighborhood-
If it's a new store, it's going to come back to you anyway.
Okay, then I'll grant the reconsideration and send it back to the licensing board.
Okay, so.
So they're gonna
We'll finish our
contact
review
you and
with us.
finish the review, and then you're probably gonna have to come back here again.
Okay,
But he has to vote.
Yes, back to licensing.
okay. Thank you.
Good luck.
The questionnaire, do you need that now or?
We'll send you a letter as to what's required.
764, Astor Deli and Grocery, Inc.
For Astor Deli and Grocery Inc., it's Kenneth Frankel, and with me is the licensee Anwar Al-Saidi. This was an application to move to vacated default. I actually sent, you should have in front of you, I sent the...
Yeah, no, we have it. I'll send it back to counsel's office. I'll grant reconsideration.
Thank you very much.
Oh, wait a minute.
Back to council.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
693, Atahika African Restaurant.
Good afternoon, members. My name is John Moncrief. I respectfully request an adjournment. Why? Because my client is not here today. Why? Because he didn't get notice in time for this meeting. I had sent a pleading and a statement to counsel's office. I faxed it to them prior to the hearing. But it was,
What hearing? There was no hearing.
they marked a default.
Yeah, but it wasn't a default at hearing. It was a default because no one responded to the charges.
I did respond. They said they didn't. I responded.
When?
I responded the week before the hearing,
There was no hearing.
or the week before was
The pleading date, you mean?
pleading date.
It was
correct.
due on 1/24/2018.
I sent it on March 23.
Do we have anything?
I spoke to Mr. Obremski. She said they didn't have it, and they marked a default. I asked them to reconsider.
How would you know to respond when no one took delivery of the charge?
My client had gotten a pleading from the,
Probably got it at his house.
I responded with a no contest and a statement, and that it was still marked as default on your calendar.
So what was
I
your
didn't
no, so you responded as a straight no contest?
Yes, I did.
Well, then, I don't know why we're sending it back.
I'm not asking you to send it back.
That was for other charges. He responded. These two pleadings appear to have gone out very close together. So he responded to one.
But there was another pleading?
The one you
One
responded to, apparently.
that you entered a no contest plea.
Is that still open? All right, I'll send it back.
Was it going back to licensing or back to
Back to
council?
counsel's office.
I don't believe you have responded to this, so I suggest you do, because they'll just default you again.
Okay.
The other one you did responding to.
Okay.
All right, back to council.
Thank you.
Next item, 706, Essex Cafe Group LLC.
Good day, Aaron Pierce, Counsel to Essex Cafe Group LLC. I don't think that we should have
You
much.
apparently did respond, and we didn't scan it.
That is
Accurate, or?
accurate, correct.
All right, back to council's office. I'll grant reconsideration.
Thank you.
While he's back to councils, I'll teach Rihanna not to be here, won't it?
Is this singular vote all we need? Just
Yep,
No, you
all set.
voted to,
Yes, yes, yeah.
713, NY Shopkeeper, Inc.
Good afternoon, board members and Mr. Chairman. This is Xiang Gang, attorney for the applicants, NY Shopkeeper, Inc. And with me is Mr. Sichuan Ni, the principal of the proposed new karaoke business.
So, Mr. Nee, you don't have any experience in alcohol?
No.
I mean, oh, sorry. No, I don't have any experience to running that business like this.
And you're a mail carrier now?
Yes.
So when are you going to sleep? You're going to be working all day and doing this all night? And
I mean, I just got married not too long ago, and I got two boys at home. One's 2 years old and one is 4 years old, and I try to work hard for their future.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
By the way, his wife is a full-time housewife, taking care of the baby, so he's ready to come out to.
Did the community board have did they say anything about this place?
No, we served the 30 days notice to the community board number 7. There's no objection
So
received.
you never met with them?
Nope. They never request any meeting or hearing.
you aware of the bad history of this place?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know the guy that used to own it? Do you know the manager that used to work there? How'd you find this?
I saw the notes on the window on the front door by the landlord. They say store for rent. Then I just call the landlord, see what's going on. Then I got the lease.
And these aren't private room karaoke, right? It's just a karaoke bar?
The first floor is a bar, and I have one private room upstairs, just one room just for the karaoke, just a private room.
It was like a mezzanine floor, very small open space, one room, everybody can see.
Did I not provide diagrams?
Say again?
I'm looking for the diagrams in this write-up, and I don't see them. I will apologize if I didn't include them.
Tons of pictures.
What are the hours?
It's 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. If maybe the weekend will be a little bit longer if the business is good.
7 days a week?
Yes.
4 to 11? You said 7 days a week?
Yes.
Well, he wants to go longer on the weekends, so
Longer
make it
weekend.
4 to 12 on the weekend. You realize, I mean, you know the bad history there. Do you know what we did to the last place? We revoked their license, which means the guy that was licensed couldn't get a license for a while.
I have no idea with that.
I get that, but these places tend to draw the same crowds when they open again, so I'd just be careful about that.
Yeah, I know something happened in the past. The prior owner's license was revoked, so I told my client to run the business up to the codes.
Are you going to have any security?
Yes.
When?
Maybe the weekend. If the week, it depends. Hopefully the business is good. So.
So you, on your application, you put no security, so I'm going to make you have security on Friday and Saturday, at least one guard.
Okay.
Friday and Saturday.
And they have to be licensed security.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Licensed security.
Yes.
That's exactly what I was thinking, just one guard on weekends. See how things go. And if things are okay after a year, you can come back and ask if you still need to do that or not.
All right, I'll approve with those hours on that time. No live music. Oh, yeah, no live music and no promoters. And no DJ. You don't want a DJ, right?
No DJ. There's
So
no
what are you going to do for music downstairs? You're just going to have background music downstairs?
Yeah, it's a recording music.
Okay, no DJs then.
All right.
All right, I'll approve on that.
Same here. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We're gonna be done.
Next item is 727, Sammy's Deli and Grill Corp.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commission members. Jen Du from Michael Floyd to represent Mr. Harun Said from Sammy's Deli and Grill Corp.
So you offered $2,000 to get rid of the case?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take it.
Accept.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next item is 686, Soybean Chan Inc.
afternoon, Chairman, good afternoon, Board. My name is Nan Zhang, representing Soybean Chen. We have here the Principal Yoon Jen Chen for the Soybean Chen. Board, we were here last time under the prior application. It was recommended to file another application, and the Board will reconsider regarding what happened on the previous two.
Is he still open now?
He is still open now, and he has been opening since when he took over the store. However, all the beverages has been stopped ever since that he got the notice of what happened regarding the incident.
What's he going to do for underage sales, to avoid underage sales?
I believe he has extensive employees there, and they do have, they do ask for all the employees from the previous owner that knew the operation, and then the previous owner, who was also the landlord for the building, has been operating at the premises for a very long time. So I think those employees knows the procedures, and if necessary, if the Board would recommend one, we can also get a scanner if that's something that the Board would want.
Well, that's up to him, because I don't see any history here that indicates there's a problem. I'm just checking, but I am going to require they all take ATEP.
Okay.
That all the employees and the owner take ATEP.
Sure.
I think he served his penance. I hope if he ever sells the store that he knows that the liquor license doesn't go with it.
Yes, that's something that I advise him. Unfortunately, when he applied the first time, the second time, it was with an accountant that wasn't properly advising of all these regulations, and also the landlord, which the store owner also bought it from. Unfortunately, I think there were some communication issues that wasn't advised him of the proper ways, and as soon as he hired me, I advised him how to operate and what the procedures involved for selling these delis with liquor license and so forth.
All right, so I'll approve, all employees need to take ATEP.
Sure.
Yeah, I think he was, I don't think he intentionally tried to mislead the agency before, so I'll vote to approve as well. Give you the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you. So we're going back to the licensing.
No, this is approved. You receive a conditional letter of approval.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next item, 702, Booze and Go, Inc.
So this is a reconsideration, so why don't you go first?
Good morning, members of the authority, Council Marsico. Yes, this is a reconsideration of a formerly denied liquor license application.
You folks can sit down, I'll let you all speak after she's done.
Boozengo is located at 1120 Westchester Avenue, Bronx, New York, a non-bulletproof 420 square foot store with 280 square feet devoted to retail space.
All right, we're all familiar with the application. Why are we reconsidering it?
There were many issues with the prior presentation. One of them was really that it was presented as a bulletproof location, and it is not. And a couple of...
It was a bulletproof location, and now it's not.
It was presented, he's saying he didn't want to be bulletproof all along, so somewhere it was lost in translation. I wasn't the filer on this application.
And before we even go further than that, I'm looking at their, whatever this is, the website?
Correct.
They're talking about selling beer.
No, that's the web designer. I already went over that with him. He knows that they need to take that off. He's new to this industry.
Clearly.
The real question is this in the public interest and advantage? And I will argue that it is. And if you permit me a moment, I'll tell the members of the authority why. There are many reasons, particularly the distance from other retail stores, Most of the population doesn't drive. New construction in the area, which wasn't presented on the prior application. The applicant's unique sales model, focus on internet sales and kosher wine product. The rising population rates in the Bronx, this is a heavily densely populated area. The small size of the location, it's only 280 square feet dedicated to retail space. And the limited store hours, he's closed on Saturdays and he closes at 8 o'clock every day. It's a previously.
He's closed on Saturdays,
Because this is a kosher, he doesn't open Saturdays.
and I see he's only planning on opening, did I read this right in your presentation, that he's open 12 to 8 every other day of the week?
Correct.
Every other day?
Yeah, limited
isn't-
store hours. No, every day of the week,
Okay.
other than Saturdays, which he will be closed.
Chairman, can we just back up 1 second? I had actually written the decision, it hasn't been gone through yet, but you're saying this one isn't bulletproof?
Non-bulletproof, correct.
She changed it. It was.
Well, yeah, but I'm looking at the new diagrams, and it is.
It's not. I submitted in a new, with my reconsideration
Oh, I
packet.
didn't see that, but I mean, whatever, okay, go ahead.
It was a
You
previous.
didn't take the old diagram out.
No, but there's a regular diagram that shows a bulletproof store.
I submitted in a new diagram, and that's not it.
Yes, that shows a bulletproof style.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, then please, I'll take the correction. It was a previously licensed location, and the SLA's policy on previously licensed locations, and I spoke to John about this, he said that we didn't know of any location where the SLA didn't relicense a previously licensed
He said it to us,
location.
he said it to us that day, and I recall it vividly, but we did hear. It's not a policy.
Well, I mean, we're asking that the SLA not to deviate too much from policy because this is a worthy applicant. The competitors, my first issue. The first thing I was thinking of before I
Well, I'm
started
not
on
really
this-
worried about the competitors.
Well, the local.
I'm more worried about the fact that the number of stores there, as well as you're intending on focusing on kosher wines?
Kosher, heavy selection of kosher wines,
And
plus
what-
internet
what is-
sales.
What's the Jewish population in this area?
It's 12,000 households.
In what area?
When I looked it up, they don't specifically say that area, but 12,000 households on record in the Bronx community.
In the Bronx,
Riverdale.
period?
That's what they say. But remember, he's focusing on internet sales, so delivery is going to be a big issue for him and a big part of his sales. So, but if I would go back to the local retailers, I wondered how I would get there. Like I mapped out the location, and the biggest one of the locations is 0.5 miles. That's Intervale Liquor Court. He's located right around here, and we're right here. According to the New York Economic Development Corporation, within the 5 boroughs, the 46%, within the 5 boroughs, they gave who owns cars in the area. Manhattan had 23% of households owning a car. Brooklyn and the Bronx had 44 and 46 respectively, in contrast to Queens, which had 64%, and Staten Island, which had 84%. So basically, less than 50% of the population would drive. So I'm assuming everybody's going to be walking because of the dense population in this area. Additionally, because I figured, okay, if you're not walking, then what's your, we cannot assume that they're going to trek half a mile to 944 Intervale Avenue to purchase liquor. And then there are no trains in these areas that service this location, so they would be taking bus. We would walk approximately 0.4 miles. That's a 7-minute walk, plus take the BX5 bus for another 5 to 10 minutes. Does that not sound like something a customer is going to do to purchase alcohol? It is not in the public convenience or interest to travel 0.5 miles to Intervale Avenue to purchase alcohol. 1045B East 163rd Street, how would I get there? That's another 0.4 miles away from the competitor, from 1120 Westchester Avenue. So it's similar to this. On the map, it's still a trek. Car ownership in the Bronx is limited.
4.4 miles is a trek?
Well, when we're talking
It's a
about.
5-minute walk.
It's not. It's a 5 to 10 minute walk, depending on who's walking. And if we're talking about city miles, it's different from out of borough miles. So even if they took a car, it's different. It would be closer if we were upstate, but it's not. People were walking. So if we think about walking distance, why are we making it more uncomfortable for people to get to a location? And SS Liquor Corp. It's 0.24 miles. Best Price Liquor Store is 0.2 miles. Again, a 5 to 10 minute walk. I would remind the members also on SNS Liquors. That SNS Liquors replaced a store that had previously failed at the location. It's another one within the policy of the SLA or in the
There's
practice.
not a policy.
Well, in the practice of the SLA to license previously licensed locations. And so
Every application is taken by itself, and it's based on the demand for alcohol and the public convenience and advantage, which is included in that. Demand is included in that. And my vote was because, not only because it was bulletproof, but also because every store, there's 4 stores within 0.4 miles, there's 3 within 0.2 miles. Every one of those 4 has shown a significant decrease in sales while this place was closed.
Well, I mean, so declining sales may just be one of the
It's one, yeah.
One of them. But, you know, resulting in, these are success, it could be management, it could be high rent, it could be lack of.
Well, and then what you've submitted to me also questions whether they have the management experience or talent to do it based on the internet sales that you promoted. The internet advertisement that you showed me indicates that they're selling beer. Well, I know perfectly well they can't, yet apparently they don't.
Well, I only looked at the first page, I didn't go.
Well, there's pictures of beer glasses. They state clearly to come to their store to find new products.
Okay.
Find delicious tasting wine, beer, vodka, rum, scotch, bourbon. I mean, that's a concern to me when that's submitted in an application. And then the list of kosher wine products, I question whether that is something that is in demand in this area.
But that's why we're focused on the market share is internet sales. We don't even touch these guys, none of them sell on the internet.
Well, the internet sales, when you tell me you're selling beer, I question whether they have the experience to do this.
His web designers here.
But that's one of many concerns, and I haven't heard anything that you presented that's changed my mind. And the biggest issue to me, which I said to Mr. Springer, was the decrease in sales of the surrounding stores and the number of stores within 0.5 miles. Within 0.5 miles, you have 5 stores. Every one of them has shown a decrease in sales, and some of it's significant.
Well, Chairman Bradley, in real-world statistics, not everybody reports what they earn.
Well, I can only deal with what I have in front of me.
And sales are relative to the operative. And I would
But
say-
all 5 show a decrease. Do you think they are conspiring against your client? Well, yeah.
6 new development projects within a 0.5 perimeter. We have over 1,000 new rental units coming to the area. There's gonna be plenty for everyone. This is such a,
There's not plenty now.
Well, but what I'm saying is the square footage, the diversity of, and using internet sales, heavy internet sales at this location warrant that we actually at least take a look at the possibilities that he would be successful. Nobody wants to open a store that's going to fail.
I understand that. That I will agree with.
They also have a hotel across the street that's being renovated. And, well, if, on 130.
That hotel, I looked at that when you put that in there, and that has 70 rooms in it. You can't live on 70 hotel rooms as a liquor store. And that's assuming every person buys something from them.
Well, historically, visitors to hotels stay local and purchase merchandise on the local.
But you're talking about 70 people a day.
But we're just adding that into the.
But my point being, it's a very small hotel.
Well, we have the new developments, 1032 Intervale Avenue in the Bronx, 8-story building, 56,000 square feet, 42,000 square feet devoted to residential space, 63 rental residential apartments, about 200 new residents to the area. 985 Bruckner Boulevard, a 10-story, 250-unit housing. 915, I've itemized them here in this location. We're here, and all of this new development is happening. there is the possibility that everybody's sales will rise because of this there's a lot of construction going on.
Well, I don't deal in possibilities.
I would say that new units coupled with the rising population rate of 21% since 2000 warrants the addition of a new liquor store to incoming residents. At present, there are 1,000 new units in construction. So,
Well, once they come back, and if I see that there is an increase in demand, then maybe there is, at that point, a decision to be made. But right now, based on the numbers I'm seeing in this area, I just don't see anything new that would change my mind. So I'm voting to deny the reconsideration, or not reconsider. Commissioner Ford?
Yeah. I would have voted to reconsider, based on it was previously licensed, no objection to community board.
he actually met with the community board, and the community board gave him the okay because they thought there would be a need for
They
this.
gave him a no objection.
Correct. And, you know,
I mean, I'll go back. The closest store sales have gone down almost 100, over 60,000. The third closest sales have gone down. They went from 648 to 448. The third closest went from 894 to 656, and the fourth closest went from 355 to 109. So I just don't see where there is a demand for another store.
the applicant would like to make a
And
statement.
if they're going to do internet sales, then it doesn't matter where they are.
Mr. Varus, they've
Go ahead. I mean, he can make a statement. Go ahead.
I would like to make a small statement. It's very obvious I'm a businessman, and I've been investing in this community since 1999. And the reason for the failure for the opposition is not the community, it's them. The community has been changed a lot. I was raised, I came originally from Syria, from the Middle East, and I started since 1999, and I know the neighborhood more than they do. And I know the community very well has been changed for the last couple of years. The reason for their failure is not because of the community, it's because of them. Has been they have to work with the community. A lot of new people came in upscale. The neighborhood has been changed. A lot of new people coming in from the city, Jewish, white upscale, black upscale people. The community has been changed. They need somebody like me and him, young people. They knows what the community needs. I help the community. I support.
But we didn't.
I raised. I'm sorry. I raised I gave a lot of people, I know the people around me, I know the neighborhood very well, and which is, I went to the community board, and everybody supported me because I donated a lot to the community. I know a lot of youngster people who's on the street, I gave them job. I know the community, please give me a chance so I can raise the community.
This isn't, my vote was more about your location. It's not about you.
I'm willing, Your Honor, I'm willing to raise the community. I'm willing to create.
I understand.
To do something to lift up the community.
Okay.
They're not doing anything to lift up the community. They're doing it. That's why you see the decrease of sales is going down. Not because of the community. There's something's wrong with them, not with the community.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Thank you.
Can I will finish with this, Chairman Bradley, before, and maybe this, I listened to the video on this, and you just said something that was interesting. You said, then what does it matter, their location? So let them be there.
No, what I'm saying is they could go, if he's going to focus on internet sales, he can go up into some barren area of Westchester County and do internet sales, where there is no liquor stores. You dropping one in the middle here where there doesn't need to be one tells me that he doesn't want to focus on internet sales, not to mention that what was submitted here tells me that they don't even know what they're doing with the internet sales. So I just don't see anything that changed my mind, so I'm voting to deny the reconsideration. And it was not about your clients, it was about the location, which is what I told Mr. Springer when he was here last time.
Well, he owns the building, so he's vested. This is not even if it fails, he has to make it work. It's not a guy who's going to be here in.
I know he's not doing it to make it fail.
No,
that's not what part of the decision is.
Chance to lift up the community. Give me a chance to help the community.
Thank you.
The members.
Give me a chance to help the community. I'm part of the community.
Sir, thank you.
Mr. Ferris, the members have voted. The members have voted.
So the.
Members have voted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Chairman Brown.
Next item is 683, Dusk Till Dawn Bar and Lounge, Inc.
Afternoon.
Sir,
Good afternoon.
Your name, sir?
Oh, Khalid Evan Lewis.
So this place has never been licensed before?
No.
And the Block Association supports it?
Yes.
What are your hours? When are you going to close?
12 to 2. 12 to 12, Monday through Thursday. And Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, 12 to 2.
So Monday through Wednesday, 12 to 12, and Thursday through Saturday, 12 to 2?
Yeah, I think it's Friday and Saturday, 12 to 2.
Wait, you got it. You're going to be stuck with this, so you got to answer my question.
Yes, 12 to, yeah.
What days are you closing at 12?
Till Wednesday, Monday to Wednesday.
Sunday through Wednesday?
Sunday.
Are you going to be open Sunday?
Sunday is, I think, 8 o'clock.
Well, we'll give you 12. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you want till 12 o'clock?
Yes,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you want till 2 o'clock?
yes.
Mr. Davis still involved? Marshall Davis?
Yes.
I read his statement, and I found it honorable that he took responsibility for his actions.
I didn't see his statement, because you're talking about the failure to testify?
No, he was convicted of robbery.
Oh, well, who,
Like you said, he was 18 years old at the time.
and you're Khalid?
Yes.
So you were with,
3 guys?
no, what was the
Yeah,
bar you
it
were at?
was- It was a liquor store. He failed to submit gross sales. So
Yes.
that's what the basis of the charge and the
Oh,
cancellation
okay,
was.
so it wasn't okay. When was that? 2015 you got your liquor store canceled?
Yes.
Does he have any other history there besides that?
No.
And what's the deal with the music? Why do you need all this music? You have recorded, DJ, live, karaoke. You plan on having all of that?
It's not live DJ every day. It's just Friday and Saturday.
No, but you're going to do live music as well,
Wants
bands?
to do jazz on Sunday. Because it's an older crowd in the neighborhood, and, you know, when we met with the community board, they want to go somewhere where they could relax, you know, without the young, hip crowd, so we told them we'll play jazz on Sunday, so they was all for it.
Okay.
So you're not going to have like 50 Cent, something like that, or Nickelback, or
No
nothing like that?
mingos, no nothing, no, nothing. We have 25 and older crowd, so we're catering to that.
And the security, you're having 2 guards every night or just Friday, Saturday? What?
Yeah, probably Friday, Saturday, just one.
They have to, 1 or 2? Because you're going to be stuck with that too. So tell me how many you want.
I mean, so far, we just have one, but.
Is that
if we need
enough?
it, We'll get 2.
Do you want 2 or do you want 1?
I'll put 2.
Because if we go in there and check and you don't have 2, you're going to be in trouble.
I mean, do I need to, or?
I would like you to have security, yeah, on Friday and
No, I
Saturday.
mean, I was gonna do 1, but do I need 2?
No, I'm asking you, do you need 2?
Oh, no, I just need 1. 1 is
Okay.
good.
All right, I'll approve with the hours that he gave. Do you have those?
Yep.
And 1 security guard on Friday and Saturday night. No use of promoters.
Okay.
If he finds that he does need to security, does he need to come back to us for that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you find out you don't need any security, you need to come back and tell us you don't want security.
Okay. All right.
Good to go? You're approved under those circumstances.
All right, thank you, sir. Good luck. Enjoy the rest of your day.
See you.
Next item, 681, Gourmet Spring, Inc.
Good afternoon. Chairman, Commissioner, and Board members. My name is David Ian. I represent Gourmet Spring This is about, it was a denial of the corporate change. Ms. Wu is she was the president of Gourmet Spring. She owns 50%. Then on September, I believe it's September 10, 2016, another 50% shareholder owner liquidated his share to Ms. Wu. And it
So, I mean, my question to you is, what snowstorm were you in that you shut? How many days did you shut your office? Because I was in those snowstorms too, and I was at work and probably the next day. You're telling me that you shut for a week? So therefore you couldn't respond to our requests?
It was about 2 days. 2 days.
These people are paying you.
We didn't send out a deficiency. All we received on this application was the application, the fee, and a finance page filled out. No other supporting documents whatsoever. So to us, that was kind of grossly deficient, so.
That's what I was about to
recon-
tell, I was about to tell him. Have they fulfilled what they need?
No, it looks like we still have to send out a deficiency.
So, I mean, this person's paying you to fill out this application.
Actually, I did her a favor.
Well, whatever, but you took it on, and you didn't do it.
Chairman, we did submit all the required document.
You didn't. You gave us the minimal amount of paperwork, nothing supporting what we needed, and you still don't have enough.
I believe we submitted stock purchase.
You submitted other things, but you still are missing things. I'm going to grant it and send it back to licensing, but I suggest you get your head on straight.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because you don't get another chance. I'll grant the reconsideration and send it back to licensing.
Okay.
Back to licensing. Yes.
The next item, 771 Blue Angel Lounge Corp.
Good afternoon. Gene Anton representing Blue Angel Corp., and I have the principal with me.
So we canceled the previous license here. Are you aware of that?
I'm aware of that.
Is she aware of it?
She's aware of it because I told her.
And she pretty much is opening an identical operation. So what, based on what I see here, so what is she going to do that is going to stop the sale to minors, the disorderly premises, the altercations that happen multiple times, the prohibited hours of consumption, purchase from unauthorized sources?
Well, we have a stipulation with the community board already. They requested some information, and we agreed to provide a security guard on a daily basis. We also agreed to close at 2 a.m. Sunday through Saturday. That includes the weekends. To stop serving alcohol at 1 a.m. This was given to the community board 3.
Does she have any connection to the prior owners?
None. She lives in a neighborhood.
How'd she find out about this place?
There was a for rent sale sign on it, and she, like I said, she lives in a neighborhood. She doesn't live too far away, and she works in a neighborhood.
If you work and live in a neighborhood, do you have any familiarity with what the place was before? Have you ever been there, seen how it was being operated?
No, she hasn't.
Okay. Does she have any experience?
She worked in, she's been working in retail for a lengthy amount of time. She was a manager of a hair salon, and she was working as a waitress in the bar not too far away. I also wanted to ask, we had agreed to be open from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m., but given the proximity to Citi Field, there are a lot of day games over at Citi Field, so we're looking probably to amend that to be open during the day when there's a game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's no problem at all.
All right, I'll vote to approve with the community board stipulations, but during the day, she can open at 12.
All right. Yeah, the community board recommended approval, so As long as you agree to all those stipulations, I'll approve as well.
So, and I want to add that there's no DJ, no promoter, no use of promoters, and no live music.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item, 731, KB Venture Group LLC. And just a note on number 4 in the adverse history, that was paid.
What number again, I'm sorry?
731.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Ms. Marsico, Mr. Secretary. I hope you got my response contravention to the charges that were sustained by the ALJ. If you didn't, I have extra copies here.
No, we did. What's the, Tom, what are you talking about, number 4?
Number 4 in the adverse history, it's showing $20,000 unpaid. That was paid.
Okay.
Of the 4 charges that were sustained, they dealt with the cabaret law, which has since been repealed. And,
Well, that may be, and
that does not negate.
well, the
finding-
focal point deals with the cabaret law?
No.
Well, those are the 4 charges that were sustained. That's one of them.
No, that focal point was sustained. Another charge was sustained, but of the 4 that were sustained, 2 of them dealt with.
Well, because something became legal, it wasn't legal when they were doing it.
I'm not
Oh,
suggesting
okay.
in any way.
I mean, the most telling thing to me, and I haven't seen this a lot from the ALJs, is that the ALJ, I don't know if it was a she or a he, but
The he.
himself indicated that in his view, this place had little to no supervision.
That's why I put my papers in to controvert that finding.
Well, that was the way I was reading it, and then he put it in at the end, which I thought was telling.
Counselor, are there any other charges pending against this place?
We completed a 1-charge hearing 10 days ago,
What was that charge?
open container.
All right, dismiss 1, dismiss 2, dismiss 3, dismiss 4, sustain 5, 6, 7, and 8, and dismiss 9. Given the adverse history here, and I read this decision the same way the ALJ did, that to me there appeared to be no supervision whatsoever.
We're changing that.
Well, you can't change it, it's too late. And the fact that the police have had to do not only directed patrols, but drive-bys every 15 minutes when it's operating, which I know they don't do happily, I'm going to cancel and bond.
I'd ask you to reconsider that
I
position.
can. I mean, look at the history. And that history only goes back to 2014 in October, and it's half a page long. And it's all the same stuff. I mean, even though they're disorderly premises, those events were found to be spontaneous, they
Would you-
still occurred.
Would you let me do this, Mr. Chairman? I can bring the precinct captain here.
No.
In support of having my client continue in business.
I can't. I mean, he's paid 35, 36, plus $41,000 in a 3-year period.
The corporate change 18 months ago.
Well, that, little too late. I mean, this is just not, there was clearly no supervision. I don't know what else to say.
There were 30 security personnel.
Well, that.
They weren't doing a good job.
No.
So I had to cancel and bond as well.
Next item, 682, 895 Hospitality Corp.
Good afternoon, Matthew Leone for the applicant. With me today is Eric Goldspiel, one of the principals. Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioner, all members of the board.
So,
So
this
what-
is to Jackie.
Yeah.
It indicates that the community board,
Got it here.
you got something?
Where it's highlighted, yeah.
They basically said we need to deny it because there's no C of O?
Yeah.
Was not sure at the time of the meeting that they would be able to comply with the recommendation.
I mean, are they aware that these are all done conditionally?
Chairman?
Yes and no. Some are, some aren't. It's kind of the new trend now.
Right.
To indicate there's building issues prior to.
Yeah, but that's something that the Department of Buildings works out with
Right,
them, not us.
right.
Right, yeah, if I could just address that for a second. Yeah, this community board in Brooklyn, apparently their policy is to not issue any determination whatsoever if there's no C of O for the building. Now, it so happens this location is undergoing renovation, the entire building, and part of that is to get a new C of O. So we've appeared there, or Eric and his partner appeared there 3 different times. The committee, they have no problem with the location, with the proposed operation. The only thing that preventing them from rendering any sort of opinion or determination is the fact that there's no C of O. I spoke to somebody in the committee. I spoke to the district manager there, and that's just the.
Well, they
that's
also
just
want you
their
to shut
policy.
12 at night on
That's true,
Sunday.
and that's not a problem. We've agreed to that. I actually, I submitted that in writing to them, because we had asked if they would consider a letter in support subject to the issuance of a C of O and any other conditions that the liquor authority would.
What's the maximum occupancy of this place?
74. And it's going to be a sports bar, cocktail lounge. They're looking to do it upscale. I don't know if you have.
Upscale air hockey?
Well, there's kind of 2 rooms. The rear room has 2 pool tables, air hockey machine, and and a dartboard. So, part of the plan is they want to try to have something going on there each night to bring people in. So they're going to have a dart league.
How often are they having, there's apartments upstairs, so all this music is making me tense. It's been soundproofed? And what's the live music you're going to have?
It would be very occasional. Very occasionally, we would do live music, just as special events, but not too often. Once a month would be a lot.
But what's live?
Not acoustic.
No, not acoustic. Maybe like 2 or 3 small bands, and they would a little show. Nothing crazy. Maybe some jazz on Sundays, stuff like that.
No, and what's the security situation? Are you having security? Who's going to check IDs?
Yeah, so there is going to be the security Friday and Saturday. Nights, 1 security guard checking IDs. I've spoken to Eric. He's agreed to have all his bartenders and servers will be tip certified, as will Eric and his partner Miguel. So I guess that's the.
Where is Divine Bar and Grill?
It's directly across the street.
And where is the Barrio Tortilleria? In Brooklyn?
In Brooklyn.
6 blocks away.
Yeah.
8 blocks away.
Yeah, that barrio, that's Miguel's
So
business.
you're going to, one of you will be going back and forth across the street? Okay. I mean, I wish the community board would have piped in here a little more, but
No, I agree. It makes things more difficult this way.
so I'll approve. What time is your other bar open till?
4.
I'll approve till 4, except on Sundays. They have to be closed at 12. And security, how many guards do you have on Friday and Saturday?
1.
1 security guard Friday and Saturday night. No use of promoter.
Did you say anything about music, Chairman?
I'm going to let the music go because the community board could have weighed in and they didn't.
I'm just going to limit it to 2 or 3 piece group, okay?
Okay, I'll agree with that, and that's, so it is I find it's in the public interest, given that it appears the community board's only objection was the Sunday sales and the certificate of occupancy, and it's, that will be a condition before you open, that you're going to have a certificate of occupancy. If there's not allowed to be a bar there, then there won't be a bar there. I don't know why they don't understand that, so.
Was that from the 504 hearing?
Well, the ALJ punted on it too.
Right, but the letter that we have from the community board is from February, and the
Right.
hearing was in December,
What hearing, our hearing?
our hearing.
Oh, you think they took that from our ALJ?
I think that came, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, but I think that's where we got that information from the judge.
Yeah, yes, I read it in the
That came from you
decision.
guys. I couldn't find the documentation to support it, but in February of this year, we did receive the notification of the community board, and that's the only thing they're weighing in on the time.
Oh,
of
so you're
Sunday.
saying they, so.
I think
you're-
they've passed, I think
Okay.
we've moved past that
Okay,
point.
so they're not, so they don't have a problem with the C of O, but obviously you still have to have one. Their only issue was the 12 o'clock sales on Sunday, so you're going to be shut at 12. All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
All right, 692 West Abbey Tavern Corp.
This is a conditional no contest plea for a $10,000 civil penalty. However, I'm here to ask whether or not the board would consider a cancellation and a bond claim in lieu of the offer that's up here. The reason being, since the time that we've...
How about a cancel and $10,000, no?
Cancel in 10,000?
I'll take cancel and bond.
He was just saying if you're paying attention, that's all.
Cancel and bond.
All right, but, okay, that's fine.
That what you want?
Yeah, it is. I just want, but I just want the board to be aware. Well, yeah, what's happening is, you had problems, lawsuits with the landlord. They've entered into an agreement where he will be closed as of April 30th. He's closing, his last day of business is April 30th, and it has to be, there's a settlement agreement, court settlement agreement.
Well, you might get this before then, or no?
So I was just
Tom,
saying.
what date? April 30th?
Can he continue until April 30th?
So cancel as of April 30th.
Right, that he could, right, I guess May 1st?
Well, yeah, May 1st, whatever.
Well, if you haven't received the cancellation order, then have him surrender the license.
Yeah, we'll surrender the license, May 1st.
Okay.
Okay.
But he's going to get a cancellation order on May 1st.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Well, he'll get it probably before that, with that date, the effective date.
Okay, very good, thank you.
I have some measures, Mr. Allenbeck, no,
We're not on the docket today. I was wondering, and I understand it's a little unorthodox, I was wondering if you might be able to speak. I was scheduled to be here on the 4th and missed the scheduling, and I just wanted to maybe address the board if that's.
was the matter resolved?
The matter was resolved and decided, but I was unable to come.
I didn't, you're going to have to submit a request for reconsideration then.
Out of hand.
Well, then, that's
What I wanted to ask, is it the only alternative?
no, that's it, that's the end of the process then.
Well, I mean, there's a legal process.
Yes, I mean, but as far as we're concerned, that ends, that's our final determination, once it's been, so this was a what, disciplinary matter?
Correct.
Okay, so there was a penalty imposed, you asked for reconsideration, and now the penalty will go forward, and if you want to challenge it, it'll be at Article 78.
I understand that. I figured since I was here anyway, I don't know.
But no, that's why you have a recon, you don't get to go around the recon request by
We
showing
don't
up.
have any of the paperwork or anything, no, there's no way. Sorry.
Are you here on the same matter?
Yeah, but they told me that you guys sometimes allow people to speak, and I wanted to know if there was.
On this matter?
On the matter of what happened last week.
No, because that's closed.
That honestly has never occurred since I've been
No.
here. It does not happen. No.
And it's beyond us now anyway.
Hold on for a second.
We let them speak on the matters that are on the calendar, but not ever a week later.
Can I ask about the proceedings of the fact that 4 days in advance is when you want all the paperwork and the stuff to be sent to you, and then you changed the agenda 2 days before the actual meeting, and someone was in Europe and unable to attend but didn't know it?
Well, if it's a disciplinary matter, we don't notify anybody unless you ask. Okay, we notify people on licensing applications, on all of them, but on disciplinary matters, we don't notify everyone unless there's a specific request to let them know when it's going to be on the calendar.
So the licensing renewal and the disciplinary would be separate then, or one?
Correct, yeah.
Because you only were going to get a license renewal because you're on extension as if we came and presented, but we weren't told at all. We checked the agenda a couple days before, and then my lawyer went off to Europe. We didn't know the agenda, but then it was changed 2 days before, and we weren't told at all. So they were kind of intertwined, and that's why I wanted to present, tell you all the good things we've done, and we were then canceled, revoked.
It was just, it was a momentous meeting, obviously, because it was, the license was revoked. The event calendar.
But the matter is now closed, as far as the authorities go. There's nothing else to do here.
I understand, we just wanted to, we were just curious because on the 28th of March.
I understand, but Mr. Alwick's now waiting. He has matters. Your matter's not on the calendar. Are you with Mr. Albrecht or, no, the gentleman in the back there? Okay. All right, so the next item, 748.
You do what the second one? You do? What?
Tim, just want to
And,
say
oh,
something.
but 747 is the same licensee. Apologize.
Let me just say, I know you're here to say something, but what everyone up here is saying is that the matter, that boat has left the dock, and so anything you say to us doesn't matter at this point. It's gone to the next stage, and you could come back to us through that.
There is no next.
No, it's-
Well,
that's-
I'm saying if you, Article 78, you said if you
Right,
want to go
that's-
through that is the next stage. That's when you have to make your point, okay?
Hoping to just speak our mind as well, not in an adversarial way, just in a way that we really felt like the due process, according to both the New York and U.S. constitutions, was completely.
But you also could have signed in, so we knew that.
Signed in, she told me to sign in if I wanted to talk,
All right.
because nobody was here for the fourth, because we were told we didn't know, but we asked right up until the day the agenda was set. And then once it was set,
Why did that go
we
on?
left and waited for this meeting. So we're sorry, we're just, really shocked.
Can you,
Here's what we're going to do. Send me a letter explaining what you're trying to do and send it to Albany next week, please.
All right, so this is 748 and then 747 is the same licensee.
Or you can send an email. I don't, either way. Vincent Bradley.
There's two offers for these two matters.
747 and 748?
Yes.
I'll accept both of them. Is this all, stuff all fixed?
Yes, they had an application that was disapproved, so I guess they're going to resubmit it.
Just make sure that comes here, Jackie, I take it they're going to change the MO on it? Is that a method of operation change?
Method of operation.
So just make sure.
This place,
Yeah.
Poppers?
That was my question, has the MO change been made with licensing, so.
Yeah, it was filed disapproved because of discipline, so now we'll reactivate or refile.
There you go, all right.
You might want to check in with the community board, too,
Yeah.
All right,
on that application.
Okay.
next item is 725, El Paraiso Restaurant Corp.
It's an offer in compromise.
I'll accept. Is this all fixed?
Yes.
Accept.
And we have 735, Gateway Beer Garden, Inc.
Okay, so he had just accepted a counteroffer last month or earlier this month.
Actually, yeah, it had been accepted, but Secretary's office was never told, so the letter just went out to you to,
Oh, and that includes this case?
no, it includes that counteroffer of the $8,500.
Right.
There was a delay in us finding out you had accepted it, so the letter just went out to you on the 10th, I think.
Okay.
So it doesn't include this case, though.
Right, so then, and he has a new pleading, which I answered. And this case is for an incident in February. I don't have it in my file. I checked my email, and he doesn't have it. I just spoke to him. So I would ask to send it back to counsel's office, or at least put it over so I can figure out what it is. It looks like it's one disorderly premise.
It got delivered
It got delivered.
to somebody at the,
Which one, the premises one?
yeah. 223 at 432. I can't send this back. If I send this back, Chris will have my head.
Got some history.
Yeah.
And it's canceled.
I don't know, because you still have an open case going on?
Let me see. Yes, there's one more.
which we answered. I mean, he gave it to me.
Is that a disorderly as well?
In fact, I think today's the date. I just answered it last night, I think.
God, Is local regs and disorderly, lewd and indecent.
All right, I'll give you 4,000 here, but the next one that's still pending is going to be a heavy,
Sure.
maybe the end.
Sounds like a focal point.
It's your specialty, no?
You good with 4,000?
Every focal point should be charged as a focal point, yeah.
Next item, 737, the Hills Lounge.
This will seem vaguely familiar.
What number again? I'm sorry.
737,
There was a suspension here that they served.
yes. They just paid, they just got, just paid a $7,500 fine, and a 30-day suspension, which ended in middle of last month.
Here's the thing on this, so it's closed. I can offer cancellation on this. Do that.
Okay, cancel and bond.
Yep. And then
Oh, and
next to it is a restaurant.
this is the Hill, this is 736?
Yeah,
The
Hills
Hills
Restaurant.
Restaurant and Bar, Inc.?
No, that last one had an open case for non-bona fides.
And what's the offer on this? Oh, there is no offer.
That's a default too.
And I just spoke to my client. She said she doesn't have it. I think there was some, I think she paid a fine in January.
This again was delivered.
Yeah, she paid $1,500
Paid
in
$1,500 on a
February.
case. That's the last thing I
This was delivered to an individual at the licensed premise on 2/15/2018 at 12:11 p.m.
does she have a pending case? Mr. Donahue, I think she did ask me to answer something else.
There's 3 open. This is 4.
This is a full restaurant. She's having a lot of trouble.
Yeah, maximum occupancy. It must be a hot place. Maximum occupancy. She got 100 people in there? I'll give another 4,000. But she's heading down a bad road.
I advise her, she's going to start closing early. She's going to start closing at 2 o'clock.
She might think about closing, period.
It is a real restaurant with a real chef and everything, so.
Somebody appears to be smoking marijuana in the past in there. I'm serious.
I don't have anything else for you, right?
That's it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, then. If nobody else signed in, nobody else who would like to speak to you, so we'll move on.
Have a good day.
All right. 684, I advise you that was withdrawn.
684 was withdrawn?
684 was withdrawn.
Oh, good.
689.
Accept.
690.
Accept.
691.
Counter, cancel, and bond.
Cancel and
Sorry, which
bond.
one was the counter, Chairman?
691.
694.
Sustained charge 1, letter of warning.
Letter of warning.
695.
Sustained charges 1 through 4, cancel and bond.
Cancel and bond.
697.
Sustained charges 1 through 8, cancel and bond.
1 through 8, cancel and bond.
698.
I'll accept. I thought the offer was low.
I did too. I had 9,000.
All right, 9,000 counter.
Okay. 700.
So I had questions for this person. They're obviously not here to answer it, so I'm denying.
Yeah, denied.
701.
4,000.
All from 12/16. This is all from like December 12/16. Why does it take so long to get here? Any idea? A year and a half here?
Could be a bad a late referral.
The pleading was not issued until February 2018.
So that means we didn't get the referral.
Gotcha, all right. 4,000.
704.
Are you good with this, Jackie?
704, hang on, I'm catching up with that. No, I'm not good with this one. There's still questions. You know, this is all about the money, and he doesn't have a bank account. But he's also other questions in the application. He has a driver's license issued out of Florida in 2011. He never lived there. He didn't report he lived there. His employment in 2017 was in Florida. That's what he commute.
All right, he's not here to answer these
he's not
questions.
answering
so
these things.
I'll deny the reconsideration.
Thank you.
All right.
Just, on that other one, it wasn't a late referral.
It wasn't?
It took a year for the investigator to write the report.
Okay.
707.
Accept.
707. Where was that? I don't have it. What was that? Let me take a look at it.
It's CNC 8,000.
Okay, accept.
708.
I'll accept.
1,500, accept.
709.
Cancel and bond, accept.
Cancel and bond.
711. I put a note in the email sent to you. This is the one where the attorney submitted amendments to the application on Monday. And wanted the matter heard today. I advised her that I had spoken to CEO O'Brien because that's where she had sent the matter to me. And the thought was it just should be returned to licensing because of the amendments.
Okay, return to license.
If that's what.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, I mean that's what Deputy Commissioner wants.
Oh, do you want that?
Sure. I don't know, what were the amendments? I don't,
It was like, it's a method of operation or something like that.
all right, then send it back.
So we can throw this away. It's
Yeah, it'll come back
All right.
new.
Back to licensing.
All right, 712.
Accept.
Accept.
715.
Do we get a check? Yes, I'll grant recon
Check was in the mail.
and accept the check.
Good to go with that, Commissioner?
Yes.
All right. 716.
Cancel and bond.
Cancel bond.
Too many drugs.
Sold.
I'm sorry. You all set?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
717.
Revoke for the record.
Vote for record.
718.
I'll accept. The evidence was not great.
No backup from the police department. 4,500, accept.
719.
Accept.
3,000, accept.
720 and 21.
Accept.
Accept.
722.
I'll accept the CNC. There's no mitigation. Just because he sends the records in late, it's clear they weren't on the premises. And if they were, he didn't supply them.
722 is what? What are you saying, cancel?
No, I
Accept
accept the 3,000.
Okay, yeah.
723.
Accept.
1,000, accept.
724.
Accept.
7,500, accept.
726.
I thought this was low, but I'll take it.
I thought so too. 1,000, accept.
728.
Accept.
Accept.
729.
Accept.
Accept.
732.
Accept. Ooh, 32?
732.
Accept.
$3,700, yeah.
733.
Accept.
Accept.
734.
Accept.
Accept.
738.
Accept.
$1,200.
Good with that?
Yes.
Okay. 739.
Accept.
If it's a sale to minor, should that be 3,000? And he's offering 6,000.
It means there probably was one right before it.
No, they've got the pre-mixing is a prior
Oh,
violation.
yeah, the pre-mixing, right. Yeah, it's because of the history.
Gotcha, all right, 6,000, accept.
740.
4,500.
4,500.
741.
Cancel and bond because of the refusal to appear.
Cancel and bond.
742.
I'll accept.
6,000, accept.
743.
I'll accept.
5,000, 5,000 accept.
744, that's the one you just canceled in bond planning a couple,
What, Royal Cafe?
no, 744.
Which one is the one we just canceled?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. You just did on 741
Yeah,
was Niagara Rapid Enterprises,
okay.
and now they're up here with you with a bad check case. So I'm just telling you, you just canceled in
All
bond
right, so
planning.
cancel for the record.
Cancel for the record.
745.
I didn't necessarily agree with this decision, but
Yeah, I mean, we do charge improper conduct on untaxed cigarette cases. Here, not only were there untaxed cigarettes, there's the cigarette retail dealer license was suspended by the New York State tax.
then RALJ decided that
Well, no, it was the
they
wrong
weren't being
charge.
sold.
Well,
So I'm going to let it stand. I just don't know that I agree that she believed the licensee that they weren't being sold. Why else would he have untaxed cigarettes? He was selling loosies is what he was doing. But I'll dismiss.
Dismiss.
746.
Dismiss 1 and 2.
Dismiss.
749.
I'll accept. This was a strange case. Why did we even go forward on this? And the charges were strange, based on what I read. But I'll accept the letter of warning.
749?
Wait a second, now
Sale to minor.
749 is 6,000.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't
Sale
have
to minor.
I don't have a 49. I didn't have 49.
749 was the second time sale.
I'll
line.
accept.
754.
This is the one that's a strange case, but I'll accept a letter of warning.
Letter of warning.
Okay, 755.
Accept.
Letter of warning.
756.
Accept.
Letter of warning.
757.
Accept.
5,000.
758.
Accept.
4,000 accept.
759.
Cancel and bond.
How about just cancel?
Okay, cancel.
Cancel.
760.
Cancel and bond. No
How about-
bond available. Cancel.
Cancel.
761.
1,000.
1,000.
765.
Counter 10,000 because of prescription drugs.
And then withdraw 4.
Yes.
10,000, withdraw 4.
766, 67, 68, 69, 70. I thought Mr. Joffrey was showing up today, but
So he asked us to put this on again,
yes.
recon, so he could be heard.
Then he submitted, he did send something.
Okay. Revoke with prescription. I don't need to sustain everything again. Oh, I'm just not granting reconsideration.
Wait. This isn't reconsideration.
Yeah.
You're on 766?
Oh, I'm sorry. God, why are my things all screwed up?
We had pulled this one earlier.
Ah.
Yeah,
that's why.
because
Okay, I got it.
somebody
Okay.
signed in.
All right.
No, this one that was held over at his request, and he submitted something, but he hasn't shown
Yeah,
up.
this is a conditional no contest. I was at 40,000. They shut at 12 during the week, 1 on weekends, no DJs, no live music, no promoters. Limit to 150 customers, period. That's the counter.
That's your counter offer?
All right, you can repeat that?
$40,000 fine. They shut at 12 a.m. during the week, 1 on weekends. They aren't allowed DJs or live music or promoters, and they're limited to 150 customers.
50 patrons?
Yes.
Great, I'm running out of ink. Okay. You'll let me know if that's accepted?
Yep. All right, the next one, 772.
No, this is the one I said.
Well,
they-
hold on, there's 772 and 773. So let me tell you what happened with this. Mr. Joffrey requested the adjournment until today. And then his clients fired him and went to Mr. Palillo.
Now, Palillo's asking for an adjournment.
No, we gave him the adjournment because he's away on vacation.
All right, so what's his adjourn date?
So it's now 5/2. The place is still closed.
Okay, both of them. 773 and 772 are 5/2.
Right.
Okay, good.
774 has been withdrawn.
73 and 7.
Okay.
775.
Accept.
Accept.
776. I don't know why Mr.
Well, it was canceling bond, so it's
All right.
accept.
Chairman, I'm sorry, Commissioner?
Yes, accept.
777.
Accept.
1,500, accept.
778.
4,000.
4,000.
779.
Accept.
10,000, accept.
781.
Sustain 1, 2, and 3, dismiss 4, revoke and bond with a prescription.
Vulcan bond.
782.
Accept.
7,000, accept.
783.
Accept.
2,000, accept.
784.
I'll accept, but he's on his way out.
3,000.
785.
This is a licensing board disapproval that was upheld by the ALJ at a disapproval hearing. I'm going to accept the ALJ's findings.
Same here.
786.
They need to come in.
52.
Yes.
787.
Who's their attorney, do we know?
Uh,
No, they did it on their own. They need to come in.
no, they haven't. It's John Maroney is their attorney.
Okay.
I'll get him. 787.
Accept.
2,000, accept.
788.
E. So sustain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
All noise, right? Yep.
And this is actually a place in my hometown.
You need to be quieter when you're there. That's
Well, it's become an eyesore, not an eyesore, but a notorious place. I'm at cancel and bond. Because I believe they were brought up for a warning before anyone was charged. And they obviously didn't heed that warning.
You good to go with that, Commissioner?
Cancel and bond it is.
All right, I don't have anything else on the calendar. You have anything, Chairman?
No.
All right, then we are adjourned.